A young woman sits on a chair in front of a police officer. She looks exhausted, drained, and defeated. Police officer: Miss, I understand that you've been scammed out of your money, but unfortunately, you're not the only victim. This scheme has affected many people. Young woman: But when will I get my money back? I have nowhere else to go. Police officer: The investigation is ongoing. We'll inform you if there's any progress. She slowly stands up and leaves the station, staring at her phone with empty eyes. She stands outside the police station, replaying the past few moments in her head. Young woman, muttering to herself, how did this even happen to me? She lifts her phone and dials a friend. Young woman, on the phone. There are so many victims, not just me. Friend on the other end. What? Have you filed a case? Where are you now? Young woman, I'm in front of the police station. What should I do? I feel so stupid. Friend, come over to my place. At the very least, let me buy you a meal so we can talk. She stands in front of the station, gripping her phone tightly. The night air is cold, and the distant sound of cars passing by fills the silence. Her voice trembles slightly. Young woman, are you really sure it's okay for me to come over? I really appreciate this. I'm sorry, I keep depending on you. A short pause. Her eyes glisten with unshed tears, her face flushed with emotion. She tries to hold it together but is on the verge of breaking down. Friend, on the phone. Hey, don't apologize. It's nothing. But what about work tomorrow? Should I talk to the team leader for you? Quickly, nervously. No, I'll handle it myself. Thank you. She hangs up, staring at her phone before sighing deeply. She starts walking slowly, lost in thought, thinking. Of course, things would be easier if Hyunwoo spoke up. He's the CEO of the company, after all. She walks down the quiet street, her head lowered. Her mind drifts, not to her own past, but to his. A memory surfaces, Hyunwoo in his early 20s, stepping off a plane in the US, eyes filled with determination. Years ago, Hyunwoo moved to America. With his older brother and a few colleagues, they developed a game that became a global sensation. Now he's a famous developer, managing the game development division at. She looks down at her phone while walking, her mind still trapped in memories. He's been my childhood friend for 15 years. Compared to him, I'm just a regular employee who barely started working. She remembers when she first joined the company and carelessly mentioned knowing Hyunwoo. The rumors had spread like wildfire. Since then she had been careful. Suddenly her worn-out slipper slips off and she stumbles, falling onto the pavement, muttering to herself, I really need to throw away these cheap slippers. She looks up from the ground and sees a sleek, expensive car parked nearby. The owner steps out, a tall man in an elegant suit, his strikingly handsome features almost sculpted. He looks down at her with a neutral expression. Man. Puppy? She blinks in confusion. Man, are you really walking your puppy without a leash? That's dangerous. Still puzzled, pointing at her lost slipper. Are you talking about my slipper? The man follows the direction of her finger, hesitating for a moment. Man, thinking. Who names their dog Slipper? But then he spots the slipper on the ground and frowns, irritated. He bends down, picks it up. You don't have to pick it up for me. Before she can finish, he casually tosses it toward a nearby trash bin, but misses. Stunned. What? Man, expression unchanging. It was blocking the way. It just happened to land near the trash can. Man, straightens his suit. Be more careful in the future. It could lead to an accident, don't you think? She just stares at him, dumbfounded. Young woman, thinking. No. It was your ridiculous misunderstanding that made you stop your car in the first place. Is everything just about looking good for you? She squints, suddenly feeling like she's seen him somewhere before. Wait a minute. Have we met before? He chuckles, a small smirk appearing on his lips. Man. If that's your flirting line, it's a bit
Cliché, don't you think? She gapes at him, utterly confused. He turns away, heading back to his car. Man, I don't have time for pointless small talk. Have a good night. She watches as he drives away, frustration boiling inside her, thinking, did he seriously think I was flirting with him? Still fuming, she gets on a bus, staring at her destroyed puppy slipper, and thinking, how can someone be so rude? Just because he's rich, he thinks he can treat people like that? She sighs, thinking, well, I can't deny I envy his wealth right now. She arrives at a large house and knocks on the door, mumbling to herself, muttering, why does a single person need a house this big? The door opens. She starts to call for Hyunwoo but freezes in shock. Standing in front of her is the rude stranger from earlier. Both of them stare at each other, equally bewildered. Man, are you a stalker? Offended, still trying to process the situation. Excuse me? Man, calmly. Well, who else would be a stalker here besides you, coming all the way to someone's house like this? Is this about what happened earlier? No, I should be the one asking you. Before she can finish, another voice comes from behind him. Hyunwoo. Bro, why are you just standing there? Wait, isn't that Yoon-seo? The man in the doorway stays silent, grinning. It's freezing outside. Come in. Yoon-seo stands at the doorstep, her mind spinning in chaos. Then realization hits her like a wave. Whispers in shock, Jungwoo?
Hyunwoo and Yoon-seo have been friends since childhood and are the same age. They became close in elementary school and have stuck together ever since. This year marks their 15th year of friendship. Time sure flies quickly. Hyunwoo was popular from a young age, and he had an older brother who was just as well known. However, popularity and good manners don't always go hand in hand. Congratulations on your graduation, 223, Yoon-seo heard from behind her. She turned around and saw Jungwoo. Thank you, but why 223? She asked, confused. In the second semester of the final exam, out of 247 third-year students, the one who ranked 223 left this at my house. If you were trying to surprise me, you succeeded. It's such an unusual number that I think I'll remember it for a long time. She blushed, feeling a mix of emotions. Even back then, he was tall and handsome. Other girls referred to him as the perfect human. But to her, he was just someone who couldn't even remember other people's names. To be honest, he was quite annoying. Now in the present, they sat at the table, two brothers in front of a girl whose world had just turned upside down. It's been almost 10 years, right? Go on, say hi. Hyunwoo nudged. Heh. Hello, Yoon-seo said awkwardly. The situation felt a bit weird, but now she understood why he had looked so familiar. He hadn't changed at all, still as tall and handsome as ever. It's been a while, 223, Jungwoo said in a calm voice. Well, at least you're not a stalker, so that's a relief. Hyunwoo, not understanding the situation, kept switching his gaze between them. So, Hyunwoo, you want this kid to stay here for a while? Jungwoo asked his brother. Yoon-seo, still trying to grasp what was happening, blinked in confusion. Are you saying I'll be staying here? Hyunwoo, that's a bit... A firm voice suddenly echoed through the space. I'm against it. I get extremely uncomfortable when someone invades my personal space. She didn't know what to say or do in that situation. Jungwoo was already throwing out alternatives like lending her money, which was out of the question. It's okay. I'll figure something out on my own. Thanks for at least offering, Hyunwoo, she said. The two brothers glared at each other. Yoon-seo starts work tomorrow and there's nowhere suitable for her to stay, Hyunwoo said firmly. Jungwoo turned to Yoon-seo. Get a grip. How far are you planning to take responsibility for her? Are you her mom? Jungwoo didn't trust her. Yes, she was his old schoolmate, but those times were long gone. She came to you instead of her parents, knowing full well that you're wealthy. Doesn't that seem suspicious to you? Yoon-seo was taken aback. I guess Hyunwoo didn't tell you. Well, it makes sense. You were abroad in America when my parents had a car accident while traveling. And just as you said, he cannot take responsibility. I got scammed, not him. I have no intention of being a burden because of this. I just wanted to see a friend's face in difficult times, that's all. So I'd appreciate it if you refrained from saying things like that. Silence filled the room as they stared at each other. Later, Yoon-seo and Hyunwoo stood on the rooftop terrace. He was apologizing for his brother's behavior. Even for Hyunwoo, it was strange that Jungwoo was being so sensitive. For Yoonseo, however, it was understandable. He probably felt uncomfortable. Anyway, Yoonseo, look closely. I cleaned up here today so it's tidy. It might be annoying to go up and down the stairs, but there's a separate bathroom so you can use it just for yourself, Hyunwoo said, still trying to convince her to stay. I know it's an incredibly generous offer, given the situation, but I can't repay this. No matter how close we are, this just feels like too much, she admitted, feeling guilty. Hyunwoo reminded her of their middle school days when he had struggled alone, on the verge of going down the wrong path. She had stuck by him even when he was annoying and had looked out for him. He had been grateful for her support back then and had made a promise to himself that he would repay her someday. But when her parents passed away in high school, she hadn't said anything. She hadn't wanted to burden him, knowing he had exams coming up. What she didn't know was how much guilt that had placed on him back then. Jungwoo was standing by the door, listening to their conversation. Until you find another place, I'll allow you to stay here. But I'll definitely charge you rent, he said. That irritated Yoonseo. Okay, I'll definitely pay it, she replied, making Hyunwoo smile, relieved that it had finally worked out. How is it that Jungwoo Appa hasn't changed at all? She muttered, annoyed. She already knew it was going to be difficult to get along with him. He's smart enough to remember my 3-digit ranking, so why the heck won't he use my name? Why should I be nice to someone like that? She grumbled. Watching the sunset over the city, Hyunwoo just stood there unable to answer. Well, don't worry about it. He's the landlord's brother. Even if he's not friendly, he won't pick a fight. Besides, I'll just avoid him as much as possible while I'm here, okay? She said with a smile. Well, that's what she thought. She had no idea what his real reason was for returning to the city. She found out the next day at the office, when Jungwoo walked in and introduced himself as the new head of the department. As Han Yoonseo was tying up her hair, she heard someone calling her name. Stepping out to the stairs, she asked Hyunwoo if it was him. He nodded and offered her a ride to work. She hesitated for a moment, wondering what would happen if someone saw them together. Rumors could easily spread within the company. Noticing her hesitation, Hyunwoo reassured her. If you're worried about rumors, I can drop you off near the office instead, he said with a knowing smile. Yoonseo couldn't help, but smiled back and agreed. On the way, Hyunwoo casually mentioned that his brother had left early that morning. A wave of relief washed over Yoonseo. At least she wouldn't have to run into him first thing in the morning. Last night, standing on the rooftop, Yoonseo and Hyunwoo watched the sun setting over the city. The warm hues painted the sky as they talked. How can someone stay exactly the same after 15 years? Yoonseo wondered aloud. I doubt he's ever had a proper relationship with that attitude. She reassured Hyunwoo, telling him there was no need to worry. She would avoid his brother as much as possible. Just then, a voice came from behind. Oh, you really think it's going to be that easy? Yoonseo froze. Turning around, she found herself face to face with Jungwoo. He hadn't left. Panic crept into her voice. How much did you hear? Jungwoo smirked. From the beginning? Without waiting for an answer, he leaned in slightly. Well, good luck avoiding me, he said, his voice dripping with amusement. The present back at the office, Yoonseo replayed last night's conversation in her head. She needed a solid plan to avoid Jungwoo at home. A strong, steady voice suddenly filled the office. As long as I'm here, I will strive to bring out the full potential of each individual. Yoonseo blinked in confusion. That voice, it sounded familiar. She turned her head and saw her coworkers whispering, their eyes fixed on the new director. He's really good-looking, isn't he? One of them gushed, and then it hit her. This was why Jungwoo had told her to try her best to avoid him. Snapped. Out of her thoughts, Yoonseo heard her colleague calling her name. You've been spacing out a lot. Did you finish moving in? You said you'd invite us over for a housewarming party. Yoonseo forced a smile and nodded. She had bragged about it so much last week, there was no way she could admit she had been scammed. Her colleague then brought up the new director. He's Hyunwoo's brother, right? Do you know him? Before Yoonseo could answer, the new director, Jung Wu, started walking toward them. She stiffened as her colleague introduced herself. Graphic designer Yoon Ji-young, nice to meet you. Jungwoo responded with a polite nod before his gaze landed on Eun-seo. Han Eun-seo, Hyunwoo's friend. Nice to meet you. Eun-seo felt her face heat up. She had no idea how to react. Ji-young, noticing her pale expression, raised an eyebrow. Did something happen between you two? Eun-seo quickly shook her head. I don't remember. But her mind was spinning. It was the first time Jungwoo had ever called her by her first name, and he had definitely heard everything she said last night. Called to his office later that day, while Eun-seo was at her desk, she was suddenly summoned to Jungwoo's office. She panicked. Had she done something wrong? As she walked through the office, whispers followed her. The rumors had already started. Stepping into the room, she saw Jungwoo sitting at his desk. Without a word, he lifted his hand slightly. Was he waving her over, or was he just messing with her? Annoyed, Eun-seo turned to leave, but Jungwoo's voice stopped her. Come here. Reluctantly, she approached his desk. You have a bit of a quirky side, he said casually. That only irritated her more, though she tried to hide it. But to her surprise, Jungwoo continued. I reviewed your work. It's quite good. Eun-seo blinked. Did he just compliment her? He then gave her a few detailed suggestions, and she had to admit, they were spot on. Despite it being his first day, he was already this sharp. She had expected him to summon her just to pick a fight, but his feedback was actually precise. Lost. In thought, she barely registered his next words. What do you think? Jungwoo asked. Huh? His expression didn't change. About the fact that someone you wanted to avoid at all costs is now your director. She had no words. He leaned back slightly. Matters of work can go through the team leader, but I wanted to hear your thoughts directly. His smirk deepened. Now that we'll be seeing each other at work and at home, are you still sure you can avoid me? Eun-seo's face burned with frustration and embarrassment. After work outside the office, Eun-seo stormed up to Hyunwoo. Why didn't you tell me your brother was becoming the division director? Hyunwoo grinned. Because if I did, you wouldn't have come to work? Eun-seo glared at him. You're the worst. He shrugged. Jungwoo wanted to be more involved in company matters because of upcoming projects and deadlines. Still fuming, she muttered a curse under her breath. Hyunwoo laughed. You know, he's right behind you. Eun-seo froze. Turning around slowly, she realized Hyunwoo was just messing with her. Her glare sharpened. Do that again, and it'll cost you your life. All she wanted now was to go home. But Hyunwoo wasn't done. Did you read the company news? He asked, still smirking. She frowned. No, why? Tonight is the company dinner to welcome the new director. Eun-seo froze again. Just when she thought she could finally escape him, she had to face Jungwoo again. The bar was buzzing with laughter and clinking glasses. Everyone seemed more cheerful than usual, the air thick with excitement and the bitter scent of beer. Eun-seo sat quietly, sipping her drink, her gaze drifting over her colleagues as they enjoyed themselves. This vibe is so different tonight, she thought, surprised at how lively the atmosphere was. It's definitely because of the new chairman, one of the girls giggled, leaning in with a sly grin. He's so good-looking. Honestly, he's got this whole cool and distant vibe going for him. They're brothers, but they couldn't be more different, another chimed in. Hyunwoo's warm and easygoing, but the director, he's cold, mysterious. Eun-seo shifted uncomfortably, trying to keep her expression neutral. She could feel the attention slowly turning toward her. Hey, Ji-young said, eyes narrowing mischievously. Didn't Director Jungwoo call you into his office the other day? One of the girls gasped. Seriously? Just because they're brothers doesn't mean you have to get close to him too, Eun-seo. He only gave me feedback on my work, Eun-seo replied quickly, waving it off. As Manager Lee said, them being brothers doesn't automatically mean, I know both of them. We're not close. Ji-young sighed in disappointment, clearly hoping for some juicy drama. Eun-seo's thoughts wandered. She remembered standing in Jungwoo's office, feeling the weight of his eyes on her, the cold tone of his words. She had told her colleagues nothing happened, but honestly, not talking to him at all might have been even better. Feeling the pressure from their prying eyes and teasing smiles, Yoonseo downed her drink a little too quickly. The alcohol hit harder than expected. And soon she found herself outside, leaning against the wall, her thoughts swirling. "That man is weird," she muttered under her breath, staring up at the night sky. Her mind drifted to high school, to another time when Jungwoo had acted strangely. But back then, just like now, no one cared. His looks seemed to excuse everything. As the cool night air sobered her up slightly, she sighed and tried to head back inside. But just as she took a step, her heel caught between the wooden boards of the deck. She stumbled and fell hard, cheeks burning with embarrassment. "Ugh, great," she grumbled, brushing herself off and walking back in, only to freeze as she saw Jungwoo standing there watching her. Later, Eun-seo sat on a bench, holding her head in her hands as the room spun around her. "Yoonseo, are you okay?" Hyunwoo's gentle voice cut through the haze. "I'm fine. I just need to rest for a bit," she replied weakly, waving him off. Hyunwoo looked worried, stepping closer, but in her drunken state, Yoonseo managed to elbow him in the stomach, knocking the wind out of him. "Oof, okay," he gasped, holding up his hands. Before he could try again, their colleagues dragged him away, pulling him into another round of drinks. From her corner, Yoonseo watched the crowd dance and laugh. Miss Ji-young and Manager Lee still have so much energy. "I'd love to go home, but I don't want to kill the mood," she thought, sighing. Suddenly, she felt a presence beside her. She turned her head slowly and blinked. Jungwoo was standing there. Without a word, he removed his coat and gently draped it over her lap. She stared at him, confused. "I don't need—" Then she noticed it. Her skirt, torn from the fall. Her face turned scarlet. "Thank you," she whispered. Jungwoo's brow furrowed. "Is it normal for you to have such poor self-control? A woman your age should know her limits." Her embarrassment turned to irritation. "That's none of your business. Whether I drink myself into oblivion or not, it has nothing to do with you." "What if something happened to you on the way home?" he shot back. "Would you know how to deal with it? Take better care of yourself." His words hit a nerve. Yoonseo's eyes narrowed. Fueled by alcohol and frustration, she grabbed him by the tie, pulling him closer until their faces were inches apart. "You are so annoying," she hissed into his ear. The room went silent. All eyes were on them, confused and intrigued. Hyunwoo stood frozen, unsure whether to intervene. Jungwoo didn't flinch. "Do you really enjoy bothering me?" Yoonseo leaned back slightly. "I admit I was wrong yesterday, but you weren't completely right either. Why are you always acting like some self-righteous prick?" Her eyes flicked over his face. "I get it. You're good-looking, so you think you can get away with anything." She suddenly placed a finger on his lips. "If you just stayed quiet like this, you'd be perfect." Jungwoo blinked, clearly flustered. "If I stay quiet and act like a gentleman, would that make me your type?" Yoonseo met his gaze, smirking. Maybe." Then her face twisted. Her stomach churned. "Oh no," she murmured, clamping her hand over her mouth. Ji-young's eyes widened. "Wait. Yoonseo, are you—" Too late. Before anyone could react, Yoonseo lurched forward, and Jung Woo's expensive suit bore the brunt of the aftermath. Yoonseo stirred, her head pounding and heavy as if bricks had been stacked inside her skull. Her eyes fluttered open, squinting at the unfamiliar ceiling above. Panic rose in her chest. "Where am I?" She sat up slowly, her vision swimming. Her clothes clung uncomfortably to her skin. The same outfit from yesterday. Her mind was a blank canvas, smeared only with fragments she couldn't piece together. Anxiety tightened in her chest. Did I black out? She scanned the room, clean, bright, and oddly homey. Then she heard a faint clatter from nearby. Cautiously, she stepped out of the room and followed the scent of something warm and savory. In the kitchen, Hyunwoo stood at the stove stirring, a pot with focused ease. Yoonso's voice was barely a whisper, laced with unease. "Good morning." Hyunwoo turned, smiling warmly. "Morning. Feeling any better? Did you sleep well?" Relief washed over her. His calm, friendly tone felt normal. Nothing seemed out of place. No weird tension. Maybe I didn't do anything. Embarrassing after all. Yoonso walked over, glancing at the bubbling pot. "You're amazing, Hyunwoo. Seriously. You cook? You clean? Someone needs to marry you already," he chuckled, shaking his head. "Hard to do when you're single." Yoonseo laughed softly, but suddenly the world began to spin again. Her breath hitched as flashes from last night flickered in her mind. Blurry, scattered memories, Hyunwoo carrying her on his back, smiling, heroic. The ideal man. She sighed dreamily. He must have carried me home. So kind, so reliable. Her fantasy popped like a soap bubble when Hyunwoo casually said, "Hey, can you wake up Jungwoo? Breakfast is almost ready." Yoonseo froze. "Jungwoo? Me? Sure." The last thing she wanted was to face him after a blackout, but under pressure she nodded reluctantly. As she approached the guest room door, dread coiled in her stomach. Not from the hangover, but the memory of Jungwoo's sharp gaze and sharp tongue. She raised her hand to knock. Slam. The door flew open. Startled, Yoonseo lost her balance and tumbled to the floor with a yelp. Blinking up, she froze. Jungwoo stood over her in just sweatpants, his toned upper body on full display. Her face turned crimson. "I wasn't peeking. Hyunwoo sent me. Breakfast, it's ready." Her words came out in a rushed jumble. Jungwoo chuckled and offered his hand. "You okay? Didn't hit anything, did you? Be more careful." His gentle tone only made her more flustered. She took his hand and got to her feet, her eyes darting away. Later, after breakfast, Yoonseo gathered the dishes. "I'll take care of these," she offered, trying to busy herself and avoid eye contact. As she rinsed plates, she glanced over her shoulder. "Why are you still here anyway?" Jungwoo leaned against the counter. "Because I live here?" He smirked. "And you're not the housekeeper, by the way." Yoonseo's face heated up again. She had meant to nag him, but now she just felt awkward. Then Jungwoo's voice softened. "By the way, stop calling me director. When we're home, just call me Jungwoo." Her eyes widened. Why is he suddenly being so normal? She glanced at him, confused. Jungwoo caught her stare. "What's with that look?" he teased. "Is your stomach acting up again?" Yoonseo blinked. "What? No, I'm just..." She paused. "Why are you being nice all of a sudden?" He raised an eyebrow. "Isn't this what you wanted? You said I always pick fights and rely on my looks to get away with things." She stared blankly. "I said..." "What? You don't remember?" He smirked. "Drunk words are honest words, Yoonseo." Her mind went blank. She didn't remember saying anything like that. Her heart pounded in panic. Flashback. Last night. The night air was chilly as Jungwoo trudged up the stairs. Yoonseo slung over his back like a sack of rice. "These stairs are the worst." She mumbled into his shoulder, giggling. "Hyunwoo, you're the best. Carry me faster." Jungwoo gritted his teeth. "I'm not Hyunwoo," he muttered. "Seriously, I carry you all the way here and you can't even get my name right." Finally reached the apartment, dropping her onto the bed with a sigh. His back ached, and he ran a hand through his hair, exhausted. "You should at least wash up before sleeping," he muttered. As he turned to leave, Yoonseo's hand shot out, grabbing his wrist. She tugged him back and suddenly pulled him onto the bed, right into her lap. "What the..." Jungwoo stared at her, stunned. In a soft, sleepy voice, she murmured, "You nag too much. What do I have to do to shut your mouth?" Yoonseo was sitting on Jungwoo's lap, her finger gently pressed against his lips, their faces mere inches apart. With a teasing glint in her eye, she asked him if there was any way to block that mouth of his. Jungwoo smiled, amused, and asked. Her in return how she planned to do that. She leaned in closer, suddenly squeezed his lips shut with both hands, and shouted, "You're so annoying!" Jungwoo blinked in surprise. He clearly hadn't expected that. Still holding his face, Yoonseo's tone softened as she sighed. What a waste of such a pretty face. If only it weren't for this mouth, you'd be the perfect man. With that, she slipped off his lap and collapsed onto the bed. Jungwoo reached over and poked her forehead, chuckling lightly. "Go to sleep, will you? Don't wake up tomorrow." With even more regrets. Suddenly, Yoonseo snapped back to reality, eyes wide, heart pounding. The memory from last night hit her like a train. Standing in front of Jungwoo now, she stammered, "Woo, was it you? Who carried me home?" Jungwoo nodded with a calm expression. "Yeah, I had to carry you through 5 subway stations." He sighed, half laughing. "I tried calling a taxi, but someone kept trying to throw up. It was a mess." Yoonseo groaned, holding her head in both hands. Unable to believe what she was hearing, Jungwoo raised an eyebrow, looking at her with mild amusement. "Is it too much to ask for a bit of kindness, after everything I did for you last night?" Her eyes welled up with tears, her face burning with embarrassment. "Yes," she muttered, barely audible, then thought to herself, "I'm completely screwed." Later that morning, Yoonseo arrived at the office and was immediately greeted by her concerned colleagues. Seeing her safe and sound, they expressed relief. "We're glad the director took good care of you," one of them said kindly. Yoonseo blushed and nodded, trying to stay composed. "Was I a nuisance yesterday?" Manager Lee opened her mouth, ready to deliver the harsh truth. But Ji-young quickly covered her lips and intervened. "Don't worry about it, Yoonseo. Stuff like that happens. No big deal." Her words were meant to comfort, but Yoonseo still felt uneasy, the discomfort from last night lingering in her chest. Just then, a familiar voice greeted the office. She turned and saw Hyunwoo and Jungwoo entering together, both seemingly unbothered despite the heavy drinking the night before. "You guys held up well," Hyunwoo said cheerfully. Yoonseo smiled and greeted them. "Did you get home safe?" Hyunwoo asked. "I did, thank you," Yoonseo replied, then turned to Jungwoo with sincere eyes. "Thank you. For yesterday." Jungwoo didn't even glance at her. Eyes glued to the papers in his hands, he walked past her in silence. A short while later, Yoonseo found herself venting to Hyunwoo. "Your brother? What's his problem?" "He completely ignored me this morning." Hyunwoo shrugged casually. "He's always like that. Probably wasn't ignoring you on purpose, he's just cold." His nonchalant answer only irritated Yoonseo more. "Well, I didn't ask him to take me home, you know." That caught Hyunwoo off guard. "Wait, you don't remember last night?" Yoonseo blinked, puzzled. "Remember what?" Flashback. Last night, Yoonso, drunk and unsteady, sat beside Jungwoo and pleaded, "Let's go home." Jungwoo, startled, asked, "Why would I go home with you?" In her drunken haze, she nearly blurted out that they lived together, but Jungwoo quickly stopped her, and Hyunwoo jumped in to cover. "They live in the same neighborhood," Hyunwoo told the others. Jungwoo agreed to take her home, and Eunseyo, thrilled, clung to his arm as they left together. Back to present, snapping back to reality, Eunseyo's mind reeled. The memories were slowly fitting together like puzzle pieces. He only helped me, and I gave him such a hard time. Her face flushed with shame. Determined to salvage at least a shred of dignity, she decided to apologize. Standing in front of Jungwoo's office, Yoonseo took a deep breath and knocked. No response. The room seemed empty. She cautiously stepped inside, placed a small gift and a handwritten note on his desk, and was about to leave when voices echoed from the hallway. Jungwoo and the team leader were coming. Her heart sank. "I'm doomed." Panicking, she ducked under Jungwoo's desk, holding her breath. Moments later, Jungwoo entered, unaware of her presence. He sat down, flipping through papers. Outside the office, the team leader called his name. Yoonseo, startled by the sudden sound, gasped, and pop! A button from her shirt flew off. Jungwoo froze, his senses alert. Something was definitely not right. As he continued talking to the team leader, he glanced down and saw Yoonseo hiding under his desk, Yoonso sat under Jungwoo's desk, looking up at him with worry. Jungwoo, surprised to see her there, whispered, "What are you doing here?" Before she could answer, his team leader interrupted, asking about the documents he had requested. Blushing, Yoonseo listened to their conversation, her anxiety growing. If the team leader discovered her hiding under Jungwoo's desk, the situation would become incredibly complicated. Suddenly, Jungwoo felt a soft touch on his knee. He glanced down and saw Yoonseo pleading with her eyes, silently begging for his help. Annoyed, Jungwoo sighed but reluctantly agreed to play along. The team leader sensed something was off, but assumed Jungwoo was just overwhelmed by the responsibilities he had taken on since joining. Trying to stay composed, Jungwoo found the documents and handed them over, making Yoonseo sigh in relief. However, as the team leader reviewed the papers, he pointed out a few issues that needed to be discussed. Jungwoo, already irritated, wasn't in the mood for a long conversation, but was persuaded when the team leader assured him it wouldn't take much time. He reluctantly agreed, insisting on a quick resolution. Meanwhile, Yoonseo remained under the desk, replaying the situation, in her mind, wondering how things had escalated so far. Anxiety built up inside her as the conversation continued. She couldn't understand how Jungwoo remained so calm while she was struggling just to stretch her legs. Just then, her stomach growled. Jungwoo stiffened, and the team leader immediately asked if he was feeling unwell. Jungwoo quickly dismissed it, but beneath the desk, Yoonseo sat frozen, now squeezed between his legs. When Jungwoo glanced down at her again, there was clear irritation in his eyes. The team leader, still unconvinced, hesitated before finally dropping the subject. After some time, the team leader thanked Jungwoo for his help, mentioning that he had really saved him. Jungwoo only nodded and said he needed to make an urgent call. As soon as the team leader left, Jungwoo leaned back in his chair, his patience completely worn out. He slammed his hand on the desk and called for Unseo. Yoonseo, still under the eye. Table quickly tried to explain that it was all a misunderstanding, but Jungwoo cut her off instantly. "How exactly do you explain sneaking under your boss's desk?" he asked coldly. With a weak voice, Yoonseo muttered, "I really had a reason." Jungwoo wasn't interested in hearing it. Annoyed, he simply ordered her to get out. From the slipper incident to letting her stay at his place, he thought he had been considerate enough. And yet, she still managed to create another ridiculous situation. Even if Hyunwoo was her friend, there had to be limits. Still sitting under the desk, Yoonseo said nothing, realizing just how much had happened and how upside down her life had become. Jungwoo, mistaking her silence for defiance, narrowed his eyes. "Are you protesting now?" Instead of answering, Yoonseo hesitantly tugged on the fabric of his pants and whispered, "I was under here for too long. My legs are numb. Can you help me out?" Jungwoo was speechless. Laughter echoed through the room as Yoonseo recounted the story to Hyunwoo. He laughed even harder when he heard how his normally composed brother had lost his patience. "You actually managed to get under his skin." "Even I couldn't do that," Yoonseo sighed, unable to be mad. Jungwoo had been right after all. There was no point in arguing back. But after everything that had happened in the past few days, she felt so embarrassed that she seriously considered quitting her job and leaving the city. Sensing her distress, Hyunwoo reached out to comfort her, but then he paused, realizing that she actually had a solid reason to leave. Even so, he tried to ease her worries, sitting her down in front of him. "Here," he said, pulling out a relief patch. "For your neck pain." Yoonseo was skeptical but eventually agreed. She moved her hair aside and loosened her shirt slightly to expose the back of her neck. Hyunwoo hesitated, seeing her this made him unexpectedly flustered and his cheeks turned red. "Hyunwoo!" Yoonseo called, pulling him from his thoughts. Quickly shaking it off, he applied the patch to her skin. Then with a teasing smirk, he said, "You know, I still haven't gotten paid for my services." Yoonseo immediately glared at him. "I never asked for a patch. This was your idea." Back at the office, Jungwoo sat at his desk, his eyes landing on a small note and a box of cookies. He picked up the note and read it, realizing that Yoonseo had left it as an apology for the drunken night out. Holding the box of chocolates in his hands, he let out a small, amused smile. "Hun Yoonseo, you really are a strange one. At the office, Yunseo sat at her desk, fingers tapping absent-mindedly. A deep sigh left her lips. How long had it been since she last felt this sense of calm at work? Yet, despite the quiet, her mind was anything but peaceful. Her thoughts swirled. Around the last 2 days, so much had happened in such a short time, and she was still struggling to process it all. Yunseo? The director is asking for you in his office? Her body tensed instantly. Of course, just when she thought she could avoid him today. She forced herself to stand, inhaling slowly to mask her irritation. Her footsteps felt heavier than usual as she made her way to his office. The moment she stepped inside, her heart skipped a beat. I want you to come with me to Jeju Island, he said, his tone neutral, yet laced with something she couldn't quite place. Yunseo blinked, her mind scrambling to catch up. Excuse me? She managed to say, her voice sharper than intended. Jung Wu turned slightly, his gaze locking onto hers. The development team was supposed to attend the game fair, but they can't. It's an important event, and I need someone reliable. His eyes didn't waver. That's you. You wanted to get on better terms with me, didn't you? Breath caught in her throat. So he hadn't forgotten about that. She clenched her fists at her sides, feeling cornered. Then came the final blow. Are you free this weekend? A mix of frustration and resignation washed over her. Fine, I'll go. That evening, Yunseo sat across from Hyunwoo at a bar, her drink half finished. Her annoyance hadn't faded. This is insane. He's completely abusing his power as my boss, she blurted, her voice rising. Hyunwoo raised an eyebrow, clearly entertained. You're talking too fast, slow down. What exactly did he say? Yunseo groaned, gripping her glass tighter. He wants me to go with him to Jeju for a work event. 3 nights, 4 days, over my holiday. Hyunwoo let out a low whistle. Damn. And why you? She hesitated. That question had been nagging at her too. Her mind flashed back to their conversation. The way Jungwoo had smirked, the way he had thrown her own words back at her. He wanted her to prove herself. That much was clear. I don't know, she muttered, feeling oddly unsettled. But I don't have a choice. Hyunwoo frowned. Wait, you're going alone with him? Yunseo gave a slow nod. His eyes narrowed. And you just agreed? She scoffed, rubbing her temple. Do I look like I had an option? A mischievous grin spread across Hyunwoo's face. Then how about we make plans together? She shot him a look. Why just us two? He shrugged, playing it cool. Just in case you need a backup plan. She rolled her eyes. But deep down, an uneasy feeling lingered. What exactly was she walking into? Yunseo stood outside a restaurant, umbrella in hand. Her fingers fidgeted with the handle as her mind raced. The trip was happening. No turning back now. Her thoughts were interrupted by an argument nearby. A couple, voices sharp, tension thick. Normally, she wouldn't have paid much attention. But then she saw who it was, Jungwoo, and he wasn't alone. Her stomach churned at the sight of him locked in a heated conversation with a woman who looked both furious and smug. Then, as if sensing her presence, Jungwoo turned, and their eyes met. Before she could process it, he was already walking toward her. She barely had time to react before he smoothly lifted the umbrella, stepping closer. His voice was lower than usual, deliberate. Have you been waiting long, babe? Her body went rigid, her mind short-circuiting. What? Was he drunk? Behind him, the woman scoffed, amusement flickering in her eyes. Babe? She repeated mockingly, before turning her gaze to Yunseo, sharp, assessing. A girl like this? She's beneath your level, Jungwoo. Yunseo's chest tightened. Anger flared in her veins, but before she could speak, Jungwoo's voice cut through the tension. Kim Jin-hee. The woman stiffened, her smirk faltering slightly. Jungwoo's eyes were colder, now. Watch what you say. This girl is the one I'm seeing right now. Yunseo and Jungwoo stood together under the umbrella, both facing Kim Jin-hee. With a firm voice, Jungwoo stated, The woman next to me is someone I'm currently seeing. Jin-hee blinked in disbelief, her lips slightly parted. Your... what? Her expression was a mix of surprise and hurt. Yunseo turned to Jungwoo, just as stunned. What is this about? What are you doing? Her voice was low but filled with confusion. Jungwoo didn't answer her directly. Instead, he looked at her with a mock-concerned gaze. "Aren't you cold? You should have worn something warmer," he said gently, leaning closer. Then, with a whisper only she could hear, he added, "Come on, help me out here. I helped you, didn't I?" Yoonso hesitated, unsure if she should play along. But before she could respond, Jin-hee scoffed loudly. "If you're going to lie, at least make it believable. Seriously, Jungwoo, her? Why would you date someone like that?" That did it. Annoyed, Yoonseo took a sharp breath and stepped closer to Jungwoo, looping her arm around his. "Oh, I see. You're one of those annoying flies that show up just to ruin the mood," she said sweetly, yet with venom behind every word. Jungwoo looked at her, surprised at how naturally she slipped into the act. Her performance was far better than he expected. "No, wonder you're always in this kind of situation," Yoonseo added with a smirk, glancing up at him. Jin-hee crossed her arms, her tone turning sharp. "Pathetic. You really haven't changed. Wasn't it just recently you invited me to dinner after returning to Korea?" Yoonseo raised an eyebrow. "Wow, you even know his schedule? That's kind of stalkerish." She turned to Jungwoo, her voice playful. "Can we go home now?" "Yeah," Jungwoo said, eyes still locked with Jin-hee's. "That's enough. I'm heading home, with my girlfriend." "You're really going to treat me like this?" Jin-hee shouted, her voice breaking slightly. "Aren't you embarrassed? To bring her home to your family?" Yoonseo didn't miss a beat. "Already met them," she said, smiling brightly. "They love me, always call me sweetheart." It wasn't a complete lie, but the context was definitely twisted. Jin-hee snapped. "She doesn't suit you like I do." Startled by the sudden outburst, Yoonseo instinctively stepped back and half hid behind Jungwoo. Without missing a beat, Jungwoo moved in front of her, his expression cold. "Judging people based on appearances, that's low. You should really give it a rest." Jin-hee, red-faced and humiliated as people around started to glance their way, cursed under her breath and turned on her heel, storming off. Jungwoo sighed, with relief. That was intense. Yoonseo took a few steps back from him, clearly still shaken. "How could you put me in that kind of situation?" Jungwoo chuckled. "You were incredible. You looked like you were enjoying it." She blushed and quickly composed herself, brushing off his comment. "Why didn't you just go along with her? She's pretty. You could have given it a shot." Jungwoo looked at her for a second, then gently held the umbrella over her head. "She's not even close to how pretty you are," he said softly. Yoonseo's cheeks turned bright red. She stared at him, unsure what to say. Then, just as suddenly, Jungwoo leaned back and waved a hand. "Forget I said that. Thanks for helping, by the way," he added. "She's been a real pain these past few days." Not far away, Hyunwoo ended a phone call, glancing toward the scene. "That took longer than expected," he muttered. Meanwhile, Jungwoo grinned, noticing Unseo still red-faced. "Wow, so calling you pretty is all it takes to fluster you like that?" Unseo glared at him, now visibly annoyed. "You're enjoying this way too much." Later at home, Hyunwoo was pouring coffee. "Want some?" he asked Jungwoo. "Sure," Jungwoo replied. Taking the offered cup, they both sat down on the couch. Hyunwoo took a sip and asked, "Where's Yoonseo now?" Jungwoo shrugged. "No idea." "So," Hyunwoo continued, "how's work been?" Jungwoo's expression cooled instantly. "Fine." Hyunwoo watched him carefully, then leaned in. "Earlier today, that scene in the street. Did Yoonseo call you there?" Jungwoo shook his head. "No, total coincidence. But the timing was perfect. Ever since I got back, a lot of people have been bothering me, Jin-hee included. When I saw Yoonseo, I just went with it." Hyunwoo frowned, trying to make sense of it. "Still, you were kind of harsh. Don't be like that with her. Yoonseo's important to me." Jungwoo raised an eyebrow. "You're overreacting." Hyunwoo shook his head. "No, I'm not. Don't forget she's working over the holidays because of you. A business trip during her break? That's stressful as hell." Jungwoo didn't respond. He just stared at the coffee in his hands. After a long pause, he finally spoke. "Maybe I pushed her too far. But if you're this worried, then maybe you're the one going too far. He turned to Hyunwoo. Tell me something. Are you two really just friends? Hyunwoo looks at Jungwoo in silence. Then, with a gentle smile, he says that they're not just friends. They're best friends. Why are you acting like you've never had a best friend before? He asks playfully. Jungwoo freezes like a statue. Hyunwoo, slightly nervous, follows up. Wait, you haven't? Jungwoo takes a sip of his drink and quietly admits, this concept of friendship, it's not exactly familiar to me. Hyunwoo is stunned by the confession. You're acting weird again, he mutters. Who goes on a trip alone with their boss? Annoyed, Jungwoo hands him a paper. You're misunderstanding things again. Hyunwoo glances at the paper and sees it's a business trip plan. Jungwoo explains that even though it falls during the holiday season, employees will be given substitute holidays. With a slight smirk, he admits he left out some details, just to mess with Yunseo a bit. But there's nothing to worry about, he adds. The schedule's so relaxed, it's practically a vacation. It's meant to boost employee morale, that's all. Hyunwoo finally relaxes, feeling a bit silly for overreacting. Jungwoo apologizes for not explaining it properly, but Hyunwoo waves him off. No, I should be the one apologizing for jumping to conclusions. The next morning, the table is covered in various dishes. Hyunwoo's eyes widen. Is today some kind of special occasion? Yunseo shakes her head. I just went to bed early and woke up early, so I made something nice. Hyunwoo raises a brow. You didn't have to go this far. Something simple would have been fine. Yunseo smiles softly. Just eat before it gets cold. Hyunwoo takes a bite, and his eyes light up. Wait, this is amazing. He shifts into reporter mode, asking her about her cooking secrets. Just then, Jungwoo walks in. Looks like you two are having fun early in the morning. He notices the food. Did you make breakfast? Yunseo nods, but seems unsure. I wasn't sure it would suit your taste. Jungwoo tries a bite. She watches him nervously. It's good, he says plainly. Her face brightens instantly, and Jungwoo notices. For a brief moment, he's caught off guard, but quickly returns to his usual self. Eat quickly if you don't want to be late. The three of them sit together, eating and chatting about the food. Hyunwoo, grateful, offers Yunseo a ride to work. She thanks him but politely declines. If someone from the office sees us, it'll just start rumors. Then Jungwoo chimes in. Yunseo's coming with me today. Both Yunseo and Hyunwoo are surprised. Why would I go with you? She asks. Jungwoo responds calmly. We need to discuss the business trip. I don't have time at the office for that. Hyunwoo tries to object, but Yunseo stops him. Thank you, but I want to handle this myself. She nods. Besides, discussing it on the way actually sounds better. Jungwoo takes that as a yes. Hyunwoo still tries to join in, but Jungwoo reminds him of his external meeting today. You even know my schedule now? Hyunwoo jokes. Yunseo teases. Why would you come with us anyway? I just thought you might feel uncomfortable, he admits. But Yunseo reassures him with a smile. We see each other every day. No need to worry. Now sitting in Jungwoo's car, Yunseo starts to feel uneasy. He had said they'd talk about the business trip on the way, but hasn't said a single word since breakfast. She glances at him. Didn't you say we were going to discuss the trip? Jungwoo glances at her amused. You actually believe that? He smirks. It was just an excuse. Relax. There's nothing to talk about. Then why are we going together? She asks, a bit confused. He smirks again. Who knows? What if I just wanted to be with you? Is that not allowed? Yunseo, surprised, thinks Jungwoo is messing with her again. Flustered, she asks what he's talking about. With a smirk on his face, Jungwoo says he was just joking and teases. Did you really believe that? You're surprisingly innocent. He notices her red face and chuckles, asking what she was thinking about. Just as he's about to tease her more, Yunseo suddenly insists he stop the car so she can get out. He sighs and tells her he'll stop, but only if she opens the glove compartment. Curious, Yoonseo opens it and pulls out a thick script. As she flips through it, she realizes it's the character analysis report her team was supposed to be working on. Her eyes widen. "This is our project?" she asks, genuinely surprised by the level of detail. Jungwoo nods casually. He explains that he wanted to do it himself so he could better understand the kind of work his teams are handling. Amused and a little impressed, Yoonseo asks why he didn't just assign it to them instead. Jungwoo shrugs. "Sometimes it's better to get your hands dirty." Yoonseo thanks him warmly and says she'll take it back to her team to apply the insights. But before she can say more, Jungwoo stops her. "Don't tell them it's mine. Just say it was your idea." Caught off guard, Yoonseo blinks. Why? He explains that if the team knew it was his, they might feel pressured to implement every part of it without thinking critically. "It's better if they believe it came from someone on the same level," he says. Yoonseo nods, understanding, but she's still hesitant. "Still, it doesn't feel right. You spent so much time and effort on this. Even if you're busy, you analyzed every character. I can't take credit for that." She looks at him, sincere. "Thank you, really. I appreciate it." Jungwoo, caught off guard by her genuine gratitude, looks away awkwardly and mutters under his breath, "You really are a strange one." In the next scene, Hyunwoo is on the phone, getting ready to leave the house. Speaking to his mother, he reassures her there's nothing to worry about, everything's fine. She reminds him that it's going to rain, so he grabs an umbrella, thinking that he should have gone with Yoonseo and Jungwoo. At the same time, Yoonseo gets a message from Hyunwoo. She smiles, touched that he's thinking about her. He asks if she wants to grab lunch together. Yoonseo hesitates. She's been keeping her distance from Hyunwoo because of the office rumors, but it's been a while. One lunch won't hurt. As Hyunwoo enthusiastically lists possible dishes, one of Yoonseo's colleagues interrupts, suggesting spicy lunch plans instead. Yoonseo politely declines, saying she already has plans. The colleague raises an eyebrow. "Oh, do you have a boyfriend or something?" Flustered, Yoonseo quickly shuts her down. But before the teasing can go further, Jungwoo passes by her desk. He greets everyone. "Enjoy your lunch," but his eyes linger on Yoonseo. Their gazes meet, and it's intense. Startled by the look he gave her, Yoonseo stares down at her phone. Just as she's about to reply to Hyunwoo, another message pops up, this time from Jungwoo. He asks her if she wants to have lunch. Caught between the two messages, Yoonseo stares at her screen, baffled by the timing. Seriously, what's with these two brothers? She thinks, overwhelmed. Faced with a sudden decision, she sighs, gets up from her chair, and begins to walk, typing out her reply as she goes. Outside, the cold wind blew sharply against Yoonseo's skin as she stood in front of the building, shivering slightly while looking down at her phone. She checked the screen, waiting anxiously, until she finally raised her gaze. And there he was. Jungwoo, walking toward her with his usual calm demeanor. As he approached, he casually asked, "Shall we go?" But Yoonseo, standing her ground, quickly responded in a firm voice. She told him that even if he was a workaholic, calling people out during their lunch break just to discuss work matters was completely unacceptable. She crossed her arms, determined to get her point across. Jungwoo couldn't help but smirk at her fiery reaction. Amused, he asked, "Who was the one getting so worked up over a few documents earlier?" Yoonseo fell silent, her confidence faltering. After a few moments of awkward quiet, she glanced up at him and asked in a softer voice, "Are we really going to discuss the exhibition during lunch?" Jungwoo nodded, clearly appreciating her enthusiastic attitude despite everything. Seeing this, Yoonseo's mood lightened a little, and with a playful pout, she demanded that he buy her a delicious lunch to make up for the inconvenience. The two of them began walking, side by side, when suddenly, tiny raindrops started falling from the gray sky. At first, it was just a light drizzle, but within minutes, the rain grew heavier, soaking through their clothes. Laughing breathlessly, they dashed toward the nearest restaurant, dripping wet as they stumbled through the door, trying to catch their breath. Jungwoo, checking his phone with his usual composed expression, informed Yoonseo that they wouldn't be able to go to the place he had originally picked out for lunch. Yoonseo brushed it off with a shrug. There was no point in getting upset over something like this. Smiling, she told him, "It's fine. I'll eat whatever they have here." As she glanced around, she noticed the small restaurant was a cozy soup place. Her smile grew wider as she walked up to the counter and ordered for both of them, without hesitation. Watching her, Jungwoo remarked with a faint smile, "You really know how to stay cheerful, even in situations like this." Yoonseo turned to him, her eyes sparkling, and said, "A smile is the best thing you can wear when things don't go your way." Playfully, she teased him back, encouraging him to try smiling himself for once. But just as she was laughing, she caught the shift in his expression. Confused, she asked if she had said something wrong. Jungwoo's voice turned serious as he told her, "You should cover yourself." Yoonseo blinked, then looked down, and her face flushed bright red. Her shirt had become almost see-through from the rain. Panicking, she stammered, telling him not to look, but before she could embarrass herself further, Jungwoo calmly stood up and took off his coat, draping it over her shoulders. "This should help," he said, his voice low and reassuring. Both of them sat down to eat, steam rising from their bowls of soup, the warmth slowly chasing away the cold. As Yoonseo sipped her soup, she shyly asked Jungwoo if he wasn't cold without his coat. He shook his head and reassured her, "I'm fine. I didn't get as soaked as you did." After a while, Jungwoo glanced at his watch and told Yoonseo she should take a taxi back to the company, as he suddenly remembered another matter he needed to attend to. Meanwhile, back at the company, Hyunwoo was sitting alone in the cafeteria, munching on a sandwich while absent-mindedly thinking about Yoonseo. He realized he hadn't seen her come in for lunch, and as he gazed out the window, he spotted her stepping out of a taxi, her clothes still damp from the rain. Concerned, Hyunwoo immediately rushed over to her. Seeing her disheveled state, he asked if she had gotten caught in the rain. Yoonseo nodded with a small sheepish smile. Seeing her like that, Hyunwoo's expression grew serious. He told her that he was going to speak with his brother, Jung Wu, because it wasn't okay for her to be dragged around like this for work. Flustered, Yoonseo tried to stop him, explaining that Jungwoo had already nagged her about it during lunch. Hyunwoo froze mid-bite. He looked up from his phone, staring at her. "Wait, the person you had lunch with was Jungwoo?" he asked, disbelief coloring his voice. Yoonseo smiled and nodded, casually explaining that they had to discuss the exhibition and time was tight. As they were talking, Jungwoo himself approached, carrying a paper bag. Calmly, he called out to Yoonseo, handing her the bag. Inside were dry clothes. Yoonseo, taken aback and embarrassed, asked why he had gone through the trouble of buying her a spare set of clothes. Jungwoo, in his usual blunt but caring way, asked her, "Were you planning to enter the meeting room looking like that?" Meeting her eyes with a steady gaze, he handed over the bag and told her to change quickly, and also not to forget returning his coat later. Yoonseo nodded, cheeks flushed from both the cold and the situation, while Jungwoo simply turned and walked away, leaving her standing there with the bag clutched to her chest. Hyunwoo watched the entire scene unfold silently. His eyes shifted between his brother's retreating figure and Yoonseo, who stood holding the bag tightly. As Yoonseo hugged the bag closer, she recalled that Jungwoo had mentioned having something else to do earlier, and now it all made sense. Blushing slightly, she whispered under her breath, a soft smile forming on her lips. Still, that was really nice of him. The rain tapped gently against the windows, a steady, melancholic rhythm that filled the otherwise silent room. Yoonseo lay curled under the covers, feeling the dull ache of sickness settle deeper into her bones. Her mind wandered back to earlier, that day, to how she had gotten caught in the storm, completely sealed by the cold, praying quietly that she wouldn't come down with a fever. The sharp buzz of her phone dragged her back to the present. She glanced at the screen, blinking in confusion when she saw Jungwoo's name flashing. What could he want at this hour? She answered hesitantly, "Yoonseo, about the meeting documents. Did you upload them?" Jungwoo's voice came through the line, slightly rushed. Her heart skipped. I finished them at work," she said, uncertainty creeping into her tone. But as Jungwoo explained that the files were missing, Yoonseo's confusion deepened. She thought back, her mind foggy, to when she left the office earlier, not feeling quite herself. "You didn't upload it, did you?" Jungwoo asked again. Realizing her mistake, Yunseo apologized immediately. Jungwoo sighed, a note of irritation slipping into his voice, but he quickly masked it. "Even if it wasn't perfect, you should have uploaded it," he reminded her gently. Yunseo, guilt-ridden, offered to return to the office and retrieve the USB. Jungwoo protested, insisting he could handle it himself, but Yunseo had already thrown on a jacket. "It's my mistake. I'll take care of it," she said firmly, before hanging up. The office was dimly lit when Yunseo stumbled back in. Her steps were shaky, her body betraying her with each movement. She found the USB still plugged into her computer. She hadn't even removed it. Relief washed over her for a brief second as she yanked it free. But the moment she turned to leave, the world spun violently around her. Her legs gave out. Yunseo collapsed to the cold, hard floor. Her vision blurred. Her arms felt like lead as she desperately tried to reach her purse, where her phone lay silent. A broken whisper escaped her lips. "Help." Darkness swallowed her whole. The next thing she knew, she was blinking awake to bright, sterile lights. The smell of antiseptic filled her nostrils. Confused, she shifted her gaze, and there he was. Jungwoo, sitting beside her bed, concern etched deep into his features. "You're awake," he said softly. Yunso's voice was weak, almost childlike. Where am I? What happened?" Jungwoo leaned forward, his voice laced with frustration and worry. "You collapsed at the office," he said. "When I found you, you had a fever over 40 degrees. Yunseo's eyes widened in shock. "What were you thinking, wandering around like that?" he scolded gently. "If I hadn't followed you, you could have been seriously hurt." Tears prickled at the corners of her eyes. I didn't want to cause more trouble," she whispered, but Jungwoo cut her off, his voice stern but caring. "So what if you cause a little trouble?" he said. "You're more important than a few inconveniences. When you're struggling, you need to lean on others. You can't carry everything alone." His words struck a deep, raw place inside her. Yunseo gripped the blanket tightly, her voice cracking. "But I have to look strong," she said, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I have no family to run to. No home of my own." The vulnerability in her voice shattered something inside Jungwoo. He reached out, wiping the tears from her face with a tenderness that broke down the last of her defenses. "You're not alone," he whispered. "You have Hyunwoo. And you have me too." Yunseo sobbed quietly, letting herself finally be weak, letting herself finally be seen. Later, as Jungwoo left her hospital room, the hallway light flickered faintly overhead. Hyunwoo, breathless from running, rushed up to him. "How is she?" he demanded, panic and anger flashing in his eyes. Jungwoo put a finger to his lips, signaling him to lower his voice. "She just fell asleep. She's exhausted." "Don't wake her," Jungwoo said softly. Hyunwoo, fists clenched, couldn't hide the turmoil brewing inside him. How sick was she to end up like this? He asked through gritted teeth. Jungwoo opened his mouth to explain, but Hyunwoo's mind was already racing, his own conclusions burning hotter than any fever. "Was it you?" he hissed. "Did you make her go back to the office?" Jungwoo, trying to keep calm, motioned for them to step outside, but Hyunwoo's anger exploded. "She's not. Someone you can treat however you want," he shouted, shoving past Jungwoo. Irritated, Jungwoo grabbed Hyunwoo by the collar, yanking him back. "You always lose your damn mind when it comes to Yunseo," he snapped. Hyunwoo stared at him, breathing heavily, then threw the real question into the air like a thunderclap. "Do you like her?" Jungwoo froze. The anger drained from the hallway, leaving behind a heavy, painful silence. Hyunwoo, voice low but burning with emotion, asked again, "Are you in love with Yunseo?" In the hallway, Jungwoo held Hyunwoo by his jacket, his mind drifting through everything that had happened. With a tight expression, Jungwoo spoke calmly, yet firmly. "Hyunwoo, I've seen the way you look at Yunseo, the way you treat her, and that's not how someone treats just a friend." He paused, his grip tightening slightly. "But given the situation she's in, I think you need to give her space. The last thing she needs right now is the weight of someone else's emotions. What she needs is stability, not the burden of someone's desire. Hyunwoo clenched his fists, his frustration boiling over. And what about you? He shot back. Aren't you the one who's suddenly grown so interested in her? Spending time with her like you've got all the right in the world? His voice rose, sharp with anger. You shouldn't. Not you, Cha Jungwoo. You don't even care about people around you. You're selfish and always have been. With that, Hyunwoo shoved Jungwoo aside and stormed toward Yoonseo's hospital room. But Jungwoo's voice stopped him in his tracks. I've never treated Yoonso carelessly, not like you think. Hyunwoo, now slightly calmer, glanced back over his shoulder. Good, he said coldly, because if you had, I might have hit you. Turning fully, he stared at Jungwoo. From now on, I don't trust you around her. Not anymore. A few days later, at home, Yoonso sat on her bed, her suitcase by her side as she quietly sighed. She looked down at the half-packed luggage. At least the fever's gone before the trip, she murmured to herself. Her hand brushed against the documents beside her. Exhibition. Materials she'd taken earlier to review. At first, she hadn't wanted to go at all, but now, she found herself genuinely looking forward to it. Her thoughts wandered, flashing back to when she cried in Jungwoo's arms at the hospital. Her cheeks flushed instantly, and she quickly pressed the documents against her face. We're not even that close, she muttered, flustered. This is so weird. Why did that even happen? Then, as if trying to justify it to herself, she nodded. Fever messes with your head anyway. That's all it was. Still, as she laid down to sleep, the thoughts from that day lingered, refusing to fade. The next morning, Yoonso stepped out of her room with the suitcase in hand, frowning at the unexpected weight. It feels heavier than I thought. A voice called out, Yoonseo! Looking up, she saw Hyunwoo on the staircase, waving and offering a bright, Good morning! Morning, she replied with a soft smile. As Hyunwoo reached the floor, he eyed her suitcase. Heading out already? Let me carry that for you. Yoonseo hesitated. Are you sure? It's kind of heavy. Hyunwoo grinned as he took it from her hands with ease. It's practically a feather. Watching him, Onseo blinked in surprise. Was Hyunwoo always this strong? She wondered aloud. He used to be no match for me when we were kids. As she followed him down the stairs, she asked, Is Jungwoo ready yet? Hyunwoo, still holding the suitcase, responded flatly, Probably. His tone made her pause. Why do you sound like that? Are you upset with Jungwoo or something? He brushed it off quickly, but Yoonseo wasn't convinced. She remembered how cold they'd both been to each other since the hospital. Did you two have a fight? She asked cautiously. Again, Hyunwoo shrugged. Fights are for kids. Don't worry about it. As he set the suitcase down near the front door, Yoonseo thanked him again. Want some coffee before we go? He offered. But before she could answer, her eyes caught two more suitcases near the door. Wow. Jungwoo's bringing a lot for this trip, she commented, but just as she said it, Hyunwoo casually peeked from the hallway. One of those is mine. Yoonseo turned toward him, confused. Wait. What? Hyunwoo repeated himself, smiling. I'm going to Jeju too. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the room. That's the first I'm hearing about that. Yoonseo spun around as Jungwoo stepped in, his expression unreadable. With a firm tone, Jungwoo looked at Hyunwoo and asked, Are you serious? Hyunwoo and Jungwoo stood face to face, locked in a silent standoff. Their eyes met with intensity, each trying to gauge the other's intentions without saying much. Jungwoo finally broke the silence, his voice low but firm. Are you really going through with this? Are you serious? Hyunwoo didn't hesitate. He gave a small nod. I am. And honestly, you could benefit from going too. He paused, then added, I don't know why, but I have this feeling that I should be there. Jungwoo's gaze didn't waver, but he said nothing. The tension between them only grew heavier, almost palpable in the air. Yoonseo, standing nearby, felt her heart race. She couldn't understand what was happening, but the unspoken animosity between the two men was undeniable. Her eyes darted, back and forth as the atmosphere thickened. Then out of nowhere, Jungwoo smirked. "If you want to go, then go," he said casually, though his voice held an unmistakable edge. "If you're both ready, then hurry up. If you're late, I'll leave without you." Without waiting for a response, he turned and walked out of the room. The three of them made their way toward the car. As they approached, Jungwoo turned to Eun-seo. "You should sit in the front." Hyunwoo immediately reacted, about to protest. But before he could say a word, Jungwoo shot him a cold glance. "I need to discuss fair-related matters with her," Jungwoo said firmly. "So she'll sit in front." Hyunwoo stepped forward, voice tense. "That's not necessary." But Jungwoo cut him off and stepped directly in front of him, his tone strict. "You joined us at the last minute. Are you planning to interfere with work, too?" Their standoff deepened, each standing tall, neither willing to back down. Eun-seo, overwhelmed by the growing hostility, raised her voice. "Enough! Both of you can sit in the front. I'll take the back seat alone." That seemed to dissolve the immediate tension, but the silence that followed on the drive to the airport was heavy. Eun-seo felt the weight of every unspoken word and cold glance. By the time they arrived, she felt slightly sick from the strain of the atmosphere. As they stepped out of the vehicle, a voice called her name. She looked up and saw the rest of the team waiting near the airport entrance. Ji-young smiled and waved. "Did you guys come together?" Before Eun-seo could respond, Jungwoo stepped forward smoothly. "Yes. Eun-seo's from the same neighborhood. It made sense." Eun-seo gave a small smile, trying to shake off the discomfort from earlier. "Are all of you going on the business trip?" Ji-young's eyes sparkled. "Of course. Actually, it was Jungwoo's idea." Hyunwoo, standing slightly behind, smiled faintly as he watched the team's enthusiasm. "Well, the schedule isn't too tight. We might have some time for ourselves on the island." Jungwoo's sharp gaze flicked toward him. "This isn't a vacation." Ji-young, still riding on the idea, laughed brightly. "Still, a little break might be good for everyone's morale, don't you think?" Hyunwoo chuckled and turned to Doim. "Eun-seo, what do you think?" Eun-seo hesitated. She wasn't sure what the right answer was, especially not between these two. As she glanced at Hyunwoo, she noticed something different. Something about him today felt off. Just then, the manager chimed in. "Udo Island's famous for its ice cream and beaches." That small detail was enough to sway Eun-seo's uncertainty. "We should probably board now," Jungwoo said suddenly, pulling everyone back to the present. "We'll adjust the schedule once we're on the island." The tension eased slightly, and smiles returned to some faces as they walked toward the gate. On the plane, Eun-seo sat by the window, lost in thought. Her mind wandered despite the buzz of passengers around her. Hyunwoo approached from behind. "Are you feeling okay?" She nodded softly. "I'm fine." Then, turning to Jungwoo, Hyunwoo asked, "Do you want to switch seats?" Irritated, Jungwoo didn't even look at him. "For the last time, no, I'm not switching seats." Hyunwoo's concern remained. "Eun-seo, did you take your motion sickness pills?" "I did," she said quickly, almost trying to shoo him away. "Now go sit down. The plane's about to take off." Reluctantly, Hyunwoo walked away, but not before casting one last glance at Jungwoo. Jungwoo sighed. "He's awfully attentive today." Eun-seo gave a small shrug. "I get nervous on planes. He's just looking out for me." But her voice was quiet, and her hands were trembling slightly as she gripped the armrests. As the plane taxied down the runway, her thoughts slipped away. Suddenly, she was back in the hospital. That day when everything had felt like it might fall apart. When fear clawed at her from the inside out. She remembered being unable to speak, unable to even move. And yet, there he was. Jungwoo, holding her hand. "Hey," he had said, his voice gentle. "If you feel uneasy, just tell me." His hand had tightened around hers. "You can lean on me anytime." As the plane landed, Hyunwoo quickly made his way back to Eun-seo. But the moment he saw her face, he noticed something was off. Her expression was quieter than usual, like something inside her had shifted. At the port, Ji-young cheerfully posed for a photo with the manager, proudly holding the famous Udo peanut ice cream in one hand. Hyunwoo, hovering behind Eun-seo like a shadow, nudged her playfully. "Come on, just one bite," he asked with a grin. Eun-seo rolled her eyes, clearly annoyed. "You're worse than a kid." Still, she relented and offered him a spoonful. But just as she raised the spoon, Jungwoo leaned in and snatched it with his mouth, catching Eun-seo completely off guard. "What a—" Hyunwoo's smile disappeared instantly, replaced by a scowl. "Seriously? What's your problem?" Another stare-down began. Cold, silent, electric. The air between them tightened, sharp enough to cut. Eun-seo, fed up, stepped back with a sigh. Ji-young, blissfully unaware of the tension, watched them curiously. "Wow, they must be really into planning for the expo." Jungwoo broke eye contact first, pointing to Hyunwoo's pocket. "You've got a call." Irritated, Hyunwoo pulled out his phone. As he answered, Jungwoo allowed himself a small, satisfied smile. The rest of the group stood by, watching in awkward silence. Sensing the thickening tension, Eun-seo grabbed Jungwoo's arm. "Let's go talk. Privately." Walking along the beach, Eun-seo broke the silence first. "What's going on between you two?" Jungwoo stayed quiet. "I'm serious. I don't know what happened, but I can't pretend not to notice it anymore." Still, nothing. Eun-seo turned toward the ocean, its waves rolling steadily onto the shore. "It's beautiful. So close, yet it feels far away." Jungwoo finally spoke. "Do you like the ocean?" "I do," she said softly. "I've barely traveled, so I never had many chances to see it." She turned to him. "Does it look different in other countries?" Jungwoo shook his head. "It's mostly the same." Eun-seo hesitated. "Were you lonely in the US?" He paused, thoughtful. "Not really. I don't dwell on things like that. I was busy. Always working." A breeze swept across Eun-seo's face, ruffling her hair. "I used to think I was fine being alone," she confessed. "But lately, I realized I've been lonely for a while now." She looked at him, voice trembling. "I don't know if you'll believe me, but I don't dislike you. You made me uncomfortable at times, sure. But looking back, I'm grateful." She looked down at the sand. "When you said I'm not alone, that meant something to me. So, thank you." Jungwoo opened his mouth to respond, but Eun-seo pulled out her phone and held it out to him. "Can you take a picture of me?" He smiled faintly and lifted the phone. "Ready? Go ahead." He snapped a few shots as she posed with the sun setting behind her. When he looked down at the screen, he smiled without realizing it. Eun-seo stepped over. "Let me see," she gasped. "That's actually amazing. It's like a life shot." "You're welcome," Jungwoo said dryly. "Is there anything you're bad at?" she teased. "Seriously?" He raised a brow. "So all this time you just thought I was annoying?" "Maybe a little," she admitted with a laugh. As they continued walking, Jungwoo warned, "Careful where you step. The rocks." But before he could finish, Eun-seo tripped. Back at the port, the sun was dipping into the horizon. Hyunwoo stood with his phone pressed to his ear, eyes scanning the area. He spotted Ji-young and the manager, laughing about something. "Did you guys have fun?" he asked. Ji-young giggled. "You missed it. A seagull stole the team leader's ice cream." Hyunwoo chuckled, but his eyes darted around. Something was missing. "Where's Jungwoo and Eun-seo?" the manager replied. "They haven't come back yet." Hyunwoo's expression changed instantly. He turned and started heading for the exit, but security blocked him. "Sorry, sir. You can't leave right now." Meanwhile, at the mole, Eun-seo sat drenched in seawater, hugging her knees. Jungwoo stood nearby, checking the ferry schedule. "That was the last boat for today," he said, voice calm but tired. Eun-seo shook her head. "I'm so stupid. Why did I even try?" She stared at the wet sand beneath her, frustration welling up. "Now I've dragged you into this too." Jungwoo looked at her, then offered a hand. "Get up. If we catch the first boat in the morning, we'll still make it to the expo." She took his hand. Later, they arrived at a small local motel. An elderly woman greeted them with a warm but sheepish smile. "I'm afraid there's only one room left." Yunseo froze. Jungwoo raised an eyebrow. The silence between them was louder than the waves. Inside a dimly lit motel room, Yunseo looked around awkwardly before asking, "Do we really have to sleep here? Together?" Jungwoo, soaked from the rain and visibly exhausted, replied plainly that this was the only place available on the island for the night. Her eyes widened with embarrassment when she noticed there was only one blanket. "How is there just one?" she stammered. Jungwoo shrugged, explaining there weren't any extras. "What's the big deal?" he asked. "We've already been living under the same roof." But Yunseo, her face flushing, argued this was completely different. Without much more to say, Jungwoo stepped out of the room to take a shower, casually telling her she was free to look for another place if she didn't like it. Time passed. Yunseo now sat in the bathtub, reflecting on how things escalated to this point. Her thoughts spiraled into various what-if scenarios about their relationship. Her cheeks burned with embarrassment just imagining it. Trying to snap out of it, she smacked her own face and took a deep breath. A sudden knock on the door startled her. Jungwoo's voice came through, saying he was leaving her some clothes. "These are the only things people wear around here," he added, "so don't be embarrassed." Yunseo hesitated, wondering what kind of outfit he could have brought. Her mind wandered to ridiculous and sultry imaginations that made her even more flustered. Mentally, she wasn't prepared for this kind of situation. Eventually, she stepped out, dressed in overly touristy clothes, her tone almost offensive. "Isn't this a bit much?" she asked Jungwoo, who couldn't help but burst into laughter. "This style doesn't suit you at all," she added, laughing with him. Later, they sat together on the porch. Jungwoo offered her a beer, asking if she wanted to drink. Yunseo nodded. "A cold beer really is the best after a day like this," she agreed. Just as she raised the can, a chilly breeze swept through, making them both pause and shiver. Now wrapped in a blanket, Yunseo looked down at her drink. She confessed that she wasn't usually like this. "But when I'm with you, I always mess things up," she admitted softly. Her voice carried guilt as she said she knew it probably sounded like an excuse and wouldn't blame him if he hated her. Jungwoo looked at her. "When did I ever say I hated you?" he asked. He admitted that, yes, her first impression wasn't great, and yes, she'd caused her share of accidents. But he never disliked her. In fact, he kind of liked her. Yunseo blinked, unsure if he was teasing again. She started rambling about how he always jokes with her, completely killing the mood. Her words slurred, clearly drunk. Jungwoo just smiled softly, realizing how far gone she was. Gently, he picked her up and carried her back inside. As he laid her down on the futon, he muttered to himself, "Is this what they mean when someone's so drunk they wouldn't even know they were carried off?" But Yunseo, half asleep, mumbled back, "I can hear you, you know. What do you take me for?" Jungwoo sighed and told her to at least cover up properly. Yet before he could leave, she grabbed his hand. "Aren't you sleeping too?" she asked. Jungwoo looked to the side, unsure. "I'll figure something out, don't worry." But Yunseo didn't let go. Pulling him toward the bed, she asked him seriously, "Where are you going to sleep when there's only one pillow, one blanket?" Now hovering above her, he looked down at her flushed, expectant face. Leaning in close, he whispered, "You really are the strange one." When Yunseo opened her eyes, it was with a jolt. The memory of the night before came crashing back. Jungwoo was right beside her, still asleep. Flustered, she pulled the blanket up to her chin. Jungwoo, noticing her movement, smiled. "You sure have a lot of energy in the morning?" Later, Yunseo asked to borrow his phone, explaining she'd lost hers. But when she tried to turn it on, it didn't work. Jungwoo mentioned that both their phones had fallen into the water and hoped they'd dry out, but it looked like hers was done for. Putting on his coat, he told her he'd go check the ferry schedule and to get ready to leave as soon as possible. Waiting on the porch, Yunseo wondered why he was taking so long. Suddenly, she felt a vibration in her hand. It was the phone, miraculously working. And on the screen, a call from Hyunwoo. She answered. On the other end was Hyunwoo, frustrated, demanding an explanation. Once he paused, Yunseo finally spoke. "It's me," she said, "and we're okay. But you won't believe what happened." After her short summary, Hyunwoo just sighed with relief. "I'm glad you're both okay." Just then, Jungwoo returned. Yunseo asked why he'd taken so long. Jungwoo told her to hurry and pack. If they left right now, they could still catch a ferry. As she wrapped up the call with Hyunwoo, she told him they'd arrive in about an hour. He confirmed that he and the rest of the team would wait for them at the port. Jungwoo blinked in surprise as Yunseo told him the phone had started working again. She began explaining how worried Hyunwoo was and how close the two of them were. But before she could finish, Jungwoo stepped forward, snatched the phone from her hand, and said coldly, "Don't waste your energy. We'll be late." Yunseo stared at him, worried. "Can you just make up with him already?" she asked quietly. "It's really been bothering me." When they arrived at the port, Ji-young ran up to Yunseo with open arms and pulled her into a hug. "I couldn't even sleep last night worrying about you," she cried. The manager teased her, telling her to at least wipe the pillow marks off her face first. The team leader approached Jungwoo with a relieved expression, glad they were safe. Jungwoo apologized, saying their mishap had delayed everything. Hyunwoo just brushed it off. "It was an accident," he said. "We're behind schedule, but we can still salvage a lot if we leave now." Later that evening, the whole group gathered at a restaurant. They drank and talked, reminiscing about the strange turn their trip had taken. Manager Lee pestered Ji-young about how she knew about the game, and Ji-young threw the same question back at her. As the two argued playfully, Yunseo laughed, but her eyes fell on Hyunwoo, sitting quietly, head bowed over a raised glass. "Is everyone already drunk?" he asked. Yunseo blinked. It was the first time she'd seen him drunk. She glanced toward Jungwoo, considering whether this was the moment to mend things between them, but he didn't seem to catch on. Their team leader excused himself to take a call from his wife. Manager Lee remarked how close they seemed. Meanwhile, Ji-young, tipsy and curious, leaned over to Hyunwoo. "What kind of women do you like? Do you even have a girlfriend?" Lee quickly tried to hush her, saying she was drunk. Yunseo laughed it off, telling them that Hyunwoo didn't have anyone, at least not as far as she knew. "We've been friends for years. He never mentioned anyone." Then she turned to Jungwoo. "What about you? Anyone special?" Jungwoo gave a faint smile. "I'm drunk, so—" Before he could finish, Ji-young stood up, interrupting. "I asked Hyunwoo this once before, and he dodged the question. But tonight, I'm getting an answer." Yunseo chuckled. "He really doesn't have anyone right now." But Ji-young smirked. "What if you just don't know?" Yunseo blinked. "What do you mean?" And finally, Hyunwoo, now composed, looked at them all and spoke. "There is someone I like. From the very beginning. Until now. My first love." The moment the news broke, it sent shockwaves through the room. Ji-young slammed her hand on the table, wide-eyed. "What?" she shouted. The other leaned in, bubbling with curiosity. "Really? Who is it?" Her eyes sparkled. "Where did you meet her? What's she like? Are you getting married?" Meanwhile, Hyunwoo in question blushed slightly, trying to hold his ground. Calm down," he muttered, clearly stalling. The entire room fell silent as everyone stared at him. "About that," he started, only to smirk and lean back. "It's obvious that it's a secret." Yunseo tilted her head with a playful smile. "Director Cha Hyunwoo, you weren't just dodging the question, were you?" He grinned. "This is why sharp employees are—" Before he could finish, laughter erupted all around. With a warm smile and slight blush, she raised her glass. "Should we do another toast?" Hyunwoo, across the table, lifted his mug. "Cheers." His tone was light, but he didn't deny anything. Later that night, under the dark sky, the group headed home. Hyunwoo lagged behind, hand on his forehead. I probably drank too much." "It's been a while," a voice called out. "Hey, Cha Hyunwoo." Startled, he turned. She waved at him with a teasing grin. "You okay? How much did you drink?" He smiled sheepishly. Too much. I'm only human, you know? She narrowed her eyes. Since when are you just a regular person? In her mind, he was the legendary drinker, Hyunwoo with the iron liver. To be honest, I'm not strong. You just always got drunk first. Her eyes widened. And when I do drink too much, he stopped himself. Never mind. Determined, she raised a fist. Fine. I'll carry you back to the lodge. Lean on me. I'm not that drunk, he insisted, stepping out boldly. See? Walking just fine. She stared. Wow, so fine you'll walk into the afterlife. Rushing up, she grabbed his arm. Are you trying to get hit here in Jeju? Come back. He didn't respond. Okay. As they walked side by side, she glanced at him. You're not nauseous? I'm fine, but she sensed something more. Did something happen? She asked. It's not like you to drink this much. Did you fight with someone? She offered a soft smile. You can talk to me, you know. He paused, staring ahead. I just wanted to get drunk tonight. Really? She asked, surprised. Everyone has days like that? But her eyes narrowed. What about earlier, when you said, there's someone you like? Hyunwoo looked at her with a smirk. Why? Curious? Of course, she shot. Back. He took a slow step toward her. What do you think? Me? Why ask me? Just curious, he said softly. He looked at her, his voice trembling. Does it sound like an excuse? He asked. Or does it sound real? She hesitated. His gaze dropped. Honestly, I'm not sure. Memories of their childhood flashed. Laughing, carefree days. We've been together since we were young. I thought I knew everything about you. But lately, she added, I'm starting to think I didn't. Hyunwoo reached out, gently. It's okay, even if you didn't know. I didn't really know myself either. She stood frozen. Huh? Just then, a hand touched her shoulder. She turned. Jungwoo. Without a word, he pulled her to his side. Jungwoo? He looked at Hyunwoo, calm. Go ahead. I'll take care of Hyunwoo. Oh, really? Yeah, we'll talk and catch up. Yoonseo hesitated. Talk? Are they making up? Okay. Take your time then, she called before walking away. Silence fell between the two men. Huh? Talk? Are you serious? Hyunwoo scoffed. There's nothing to talk about. Jungwoo stood still. Let's make up. Hyunwoo blinked. What? Don't get me wrong. I'm not sorry, Jungwoo said. But we should stop making it obvious. Han Onseo's worried. Onseo? Yeah, she's been anxious. It makes me feel bad just watching her. Hyunwoo remembered her worried glances, her words. You can talk to me? Come to think of it. He closed his eyes for a moment. All right, for now. At that moment, Yoonseo rejoined her friends. Why are you only coming now? Oh, I'm sorry, she giggled. She smiled brightly, but in her eyes, something else shimmered. Hope? Or maybe uncertainty. From a distance, Hyunwoo watched her laugh, full of life. Good grief, he muttered. Jungwoo stood beside him. Let's go. There's still work left to do. As they walked away, a single close-up of Hyunwoo's eye revealed something more, unspoken, but deeply felt. Something had shifted. Morning light spilled through the windows as soft snowflakes fell outside. The world looked calm, but inside the lodging house, the remnants of last night's chaos were beginning to stir. A quiet murmur broke the silence. Yoonseo's bare feet peeked from under the covers as her eyes slowly fluttered open, adjusting to the unfamiliar ceiling. This is the lodging house, she mumbled, sitting up groggily. Around her, her colleagues lay tangled in blankets, still fast asleep. Somehow, I made it back safely, she whispered, brushing her face in disbelief. Fragments of the night before flashed in her mind. Everyone laughing, flushed with alcohol. Then, a more vivid memory surfaced. Someone collapsing dramatically onto another's chest, faces close, cheeks red. What exactly happened? What a mess, she muttered, rubbing her forehead. A breeze rustled the curtains, drawing her attention. With a deep breath, she stood up and stepped outside. The world was blanketed in snow. Flowers peeked through the frost, adding color to the white landscape. It's beautiful. Looks like it snowed last night, she said, folding her arms against the cold. Then she spotted someone jogging down the path. Her eyes widened. Jungwoo? He paused, equally surprised. Han Onseo? Still catching his breath, Jungwoo stepped closer. What are you doing at this hour? Oh, nothing really, Onseo said, brushing her hair back. I just woke up early and went for a walk. Is that so? He replied. Then, after a brief pause, he added, Want to walk together for a bit? Should we? She asked, slightly flustered. They walked side by side in silence, their footsteps, muffled by snow. Red camellias bloomed through the frost. Eventually, Jungwoo broke the silence. About yesterday. But Yunseo cut in, grinning. Did you talk things out with Hyunwoo? He looked over at her, caught off guard. I'm not sure what happened. But he was definitely drinking more than usual. She raised her hands defensively. I'm not trying to defend him. He just seemed really down lately. Jungwoo's voice was calm. It's already resolved. Don't worry about it. Embarrassed, Yunseo mumbled. I haven't even washed my hair yet. Ignoring that, Jungwoo looked at her intently. Now that we've cleared that up, there's something I still haven't heard from you. Huh? What do you mean? She asked. What I said at the guest house, he said. You never answered. She laughed nervously. That. I honestly don't remember much from that day. Jungwoo leaned in slightly. You don't? You cursed at me a lot. What? Me? No way. You did. Said I was talking nonsense. She pouted, cheeks red. That's because you started saying weird things first, he smirked. So you do remember. Yunseo stumbled, trying to recover. I'm just not used to that kind of joke. Jungwoo's expression turned serious. Why do you think it was a joke? She stared at him, frozen. Then, softly, he said, I really do like you. Her breath caught. She tried to laugh it off. Are you still drunk from yesterday? That's not funny. Turning away, she muttered, Oh, okay, let's go back inside. Everyone's probably waking up. But Jungwoo reached out and grabbed her hand. Don't run away. I'm not done talking. Their eyes met. I'll be clear this time, he said. In case you misunderstood before. Snow drifted gently around them. He remembered everything, her smile, the way she handled everything alone. At first, I didn't know why you bothered me so much. Everything you said and did just stuck with me. Images of her laughter under an umbrella, her presence beside him. It all came back. But then I realized I wanted to see you smile more. I hated seeing you carry everything by yourself. I've fallen for Han Onseo. His voice echoed in the present. I like you, Han Onseo. Onseo stood frozen. I know this is sudden, Jungwoo said, but I'm not saying this on a whim. He looked into her eyes. Without any specific reason, I just came to like you. I can't hide it anymore. She clutched her chest. I don't know what to say. It's just so sudden. I'm not asking for an answer right now, he said. But I didn't think you'd be this surprised. He turned away. I'll go in first. Take your time to think about it. Yunseo watched him walk away, heart pounding. Oh, my goodness. Jungwoo just... Before she could make sense of it, he suddenly stepped back toward her. However, he said with a smile, don't keep me waiting too long. Well, what? What do you mean? She stammered. Don't overthink it. I'm heading in. She watched him disappear, lips parted. What's with him, really? She glanced at the camellias near her feet. Seriously, he's always doing things his own way. Time passed. The Jeju trip came to an end, the plane slicing through the clouds as the emotions of the trip lingered. Back in the city, a tall building lit the night sky. Inside, a man reviewed a set of documents. Are these from the expo? Yes. He flipped through them, stopping at one. Who did this design? At the bottom of the page, one name stood out, Han. Unseo? Inside the office, the usual rhythm of keyboards and quiet chatter filled the space. Yunseo sat at her desk, focused on her screen. The Jeju business trip is over, and Ms. Yunseo? A voice snapped her back to reality. She turned quickly. Yes? A colleague handed her a document. This needs to be submitted today. She nodded, stress visible in her eyes. Back to the rush? I barely have time to think. Her phone buzzed as she juggled folders and tasks. I don't even have time to reflect on his confession. She muttered, "Let me just finish this first." Then a thought crept in. Maybe that's for the best. Still, when things slowed even for a second, she'd picture it. His hand holding hers, his soft gaze. Every free moment, that memory comes back. She sighed. For now, distance is best, but fate had other plans. A message flashed on her screen. From Director Jung Wu. If you're free this weekend, let's go somewhere together. Her mouth opened in shock. Seriously? He never lets me breathe. Later, Yunseo stood in front of the mirror, adjusting her earrings. Her coat was neat, her hair styled, but the nerves were real. Is this too much? I just woke up early? That's all. Trying to calm herself, she repeated, It's just an outing. Nothing serious. Suddenly, a shout echoed, Han Yunseo! Kya! A crash followed. Jungwoo stood frozen outside the door. She peeked out, embarrassed. Sorry. I knocked something over. Is it time already? Then she paused. Wait, when did you get here? The camera lingers on Jungwoo's clean-tailored coat. Good morning, he said calmly. Yunseo froze, panicked. Good morning, she replied awkwardly. I wasn't late on purpose. I just got caught up getting ready. Jungwoo stayed cool. It's not even time yet, she blinked. What? Then why did you come early? He smirked. I wanted to see your face. Without another word, he turned away. I'm going now. Be on time later. Yunseo stood speechless. Did he really just come to see me? Her cheeks turned red. It's less awkward than I expected. Should I be thankful? At a quiet bus stop, she stood beside him. Are we taking the bus today? What about your car? Jungwoo calmly replied. We're not taking it. She frowned. Why? Cars aren't romantic. Yunseo chuckled. Since when do you care about romance? She teased. I thought you only cared about efficiency. He smirked. Han Unseo, you really are. She grinned, cutting him off. It doesn't suit you at all. Jungwoo looked at her, softening. Perfect. Huh? What is? Nothing. Get on, he said as the bus arrived. She looked up. Wait. Where are we going? Bright daylight poured down as they arrived. The place you wanted to visit? Jungwoo said quietly. Yunseo looked around. Families with kids, balloons, and a large castle up ahead. An amusement park. She stared at him. Seriously? You think this is romantic? He didn't reply. She laughed. Come on, this is high school stuff. What have you been doing all these years? I've never been, he said flatly. Didn't suit me. She imagined him surrounded by balloons and cat ears. Yeah, it really doesn't suit you. Excited, she pulled him forward. Let's go. We need to line up for rides. At a booth, she handed him bunny ears. This suits you. He stared at them in disbelief. This? Suddenly, they were flying through the air on a ride. Yunseo screamed in joy. Jungwoo stayed stiff but calm. Later, under carousel lights, she laughed seeing him in cat ears. He didn't argue. Fireworks exploded above. "Wow, it's beautiful," she whispered. Jungwoo looked at her, soft eyes reflecting the colors in the sky. The bus arrived. Yunseo jumped off with energy. "That was amazing!" Jungwoo stepped down behind her. "Whoa! It's been years since I visited a place like this," she smiled. "How about you?" He teased. "It was tiring. Someone kept running off." "To ride things." She nudged him. "You liked it too." "You must be more tired," he said, eyeing her heels. "You don't usually wear shoes like that." She froze. She puffed up with fake confidence. "These are nothing. I can even jump." Then she jumped and her heel snapped. Her shoe cracked midair. She stumbled and fell. "Ah!" Later, she sat on a bench, knees bandaged. Jungwoo held her broken shoe. "You really can't have a normal day, can you?" She pouted. "How was I supposed to know they'd break?" He handed her shoes from his bag. "These might be big, but wear them." "Thank you." He chuckled. "Your shoes suffer, like those slippers from before." "Hey, I saved them after you trashed them." He offered a hand. "Still stubborn? Come on, let's go." She hesitated. "I can walk." "Standing is fine. But walking?" he said, smirking. Under the streetlights, Jungwoo looked at her bandaged knees and oversized slippers. "You won't last 3 steps," Yunseo said. "Nothing." He added, "Just hold on and walk." She quietly slipped her arm through his. They walked in silence. Her broken shoes swung in his hand. She clung to him a little more. Then she spoke, voice soft. "Thanks for today. For everything." He said nothing, just listened. "I thought I'd avoid you after Jeju. Not because I hate you, I just didn't know how to act." She looked up, smiling shyly. "But today you were the same. That helped. You were pretending to act normal. Weren't you?" she added with a smile. "Thanks," he smirked. "Was I?" Then he looked at her, sincere. "It wasn't about pretending. I just wanted to spend time with you." Her heart pounded. Jung Wu, why do you say things like that so easily?" He tilted his head. "Did I say anything wrong?" Flustered, she took a step back, then stumbled. "Watch out." He caught her. Their eyes met. Silence. "What I said in Jeju," he whispered. "Is that still on hold?" She couldn't answer. "Then maybe." He leaned in. "Can I kiss you?" No, words, just her wide eyes, and then he kissed her. Their feet brushed as Yunseo instinctively stepped back, her slipper catching awkwardly. Under the soft glow of a street lamp, time seemed to pause, their eyes locked. Jungwoo's hand rose to her cheek, trembling with emotion. As he leaned in, breaths mingling, he whispered, "This isn't an answer, is it?" She looked away, flushed. "Well," with a small smile, he brushed her hair aside. "It's okay. I can wait. But I'd like to hear it from you someday." And just like that, he stepped back, leaving her stunned in the breaking dawn. Back at the office, Yunseo tried to focus on work until a colleague called, "Yunseo, how was your weekend?" Yunseo froze, recalling the amusement park, the laughter, the kiss. Her face went red. Her colleague chatted on. "Did you ride the Viking? I rode it 12 times in high." "School! Ha! Ha! Ha!" Yunseo barely managed, still lost in shock. "Wait, did I really kiss Jungwoo?" Just then, plop! A stack of papers dropped onto her desk. "Kya!" It was him. Jungwoo looked calm. "I was just about to call you. What were you two discussing so seriously?" Yunseo stared, heart racing. The colleague cheerfully chimed in. "She went to an amusement park." Jungwoo's gaze narrowed slightly. "Is that so? No wonder you look so cheerful." Yunseo flinched, completely thrown off. But then, with a shift in tone, he said, "Enough small talk. Ms. Hunt Yunseo, please come to the director's office." She followed, stiff and uneasy. He greeted her with a neutral tone. "Have a seat." "As us." He continued working. Yoonseo's thoughts spiraled. Why is he so calm? Am I the only one freaking out? Sitting together later, Jungwoo suddenly said, "Han Yoonseo." Startled, she snapped back, "What now? Teasing me again?" But he just flicked her forehead. "Pay attention, you got a collaboration proposal." "What?" she gasped. He explained. A company noticed her work at the exhibition and wanted her to lead a new project. "They liked the design and your passion," Jungwoo said, handing her the document. "What do you think? I believe you'll do well." Yoonseo stared, stunned. "So he brought me here just to tell me this?" With newfound energy, she smiled. "Yes, I'll take it on." Her imagination kicked into overdrive. "I'll even design a new character just for them." Jungwoo smiled faintly. "She's unpredictable. But amazing. I'll help," he said calmly. "It won't be too hard." "Yes, I'll work hard," she cheered. In the days that followed, her calendar filled with tasks. Stickers marked key dates, including the bold circle around the 19th. Amid the pressure, Jungwoo was always nearby. When she almost made a mistake, he guided her gently. When she fell asleep at her desk, he returned quietly and placed his jacket over her shoulders. As night fell, Jungwoo stepped into the office and paused. "Still working?" He spotted her, fast asleep among the papers, softly mumbling in her dreams. He approached, pulling his jacket closer around her, and simply watched. Nearby, the deadline was crossed out. "Finished," Yoonseo whispered, stretching. She turned. To see her coworkers still there? "You didn't leave?" They laughed. "We wanted to celebrate with you." She stood frozen, exhausted, relieved, and quietly touched. Later, her team praised her work, even hinting at a possible promotion. Blushing, Yoonseo waved it off. "I didn't do it alone." But her thoughts drifted to Jungwoo, his guidance, his quiet support. She smiled to herself. "Yoonseo?" someone called. Snapping out of it, she laughed nervously. "Oh, nothing." Then a hesitant voice added, "Yoonseo, actually, yes? Never mind." She forced a cheerful smile. "I'll go get some air," she said, escaping the tension. Stepping out into the hallway, she stretched, finally breathing freely. Checking her phone, her eyes stopped on the calendar. Jungwoo's birthday. Day after tomorrow. Should I treat him to dinner? And maybe... She hesitated, then began typing. "Are you free tomorrow evening?" After a deep breath, she sent it. The reply came instantly. "If you tell me to make time, I will." "Why? Are we going somewhere?" She blinked. How is he this cute? Later, as she walked toward the rooftop, voices caught her attention. "They're definitely dating." Her body stiffened. "They're using work as an excuse," one woman said, snickering. "So convenient." Yoonseo stood frozen, heart pounding. They were talking about me and Jungwoo? As the golden evening light spilled across the office buildings, quiet whispers carried sharp words through the air. "That woman's been talked about since she was hired," one voice muttered. "She has no skills. Just connections," another sneered. "I heard she rides in the director's car. What is he now, her personal chauffeur? And she acts like nothing's going on. It's laughable." Just around the corner, Yoonseo stood frozen, overhearing every word. Their voices grew harsher. "Some of us work endlessly and stay assistants, while others date the boss and get business trips to Jeju." Wait, did the director assign her personally? He said he had someone in mind for the project. Outside, the ridicule continued. "The director's all professional until it comes to his girlfriend." The women chuckled. "So annoying," one scoffed. "She's not even pretty. Must come from money." Yoonseo clenched her fist. Her face flushed with anger. Suddenly, ding, the elevator opened. "What are you all talking about?" she snapped, marching in. "Then don't say such things in the first place." Her voice trembled with fury. "So it's okay to judge people just because they're not rich. Did you even see anything yourselves?" As the elevator doors closed, Yoonseo shrank, flustered and overwhelmed. Inside, she leaned against the wall, whispering, This is so unfair. Their words echoed in her mind, twisting everything. Maybe, to others, it really did look that way. She had worked with Jung Wu, ridden in his car, received his help. Her chest ached with conflict. Later, back at her desk, she pressed a cold bottle to her forehead, trying to think. A message from Jungwoo lit up her screen. "Call me when you get off work. I'll be waiting." Her hands trembled. She hovered over the reply. "Okay." But her thoughts spun again. Can I really give him my answer today? Her coworker peeked from behind the monitor, wearing cat ears and a suspicious glare. "Don't tell me you're eating just one kimbap again." Startled, Yoonseo laughed nervously. "Haha, I'm on a diet." "Eat properly," the coworker scolded, handing her a glucose candy. Yoonseo smiled faintly. "Thanks." As her colleague walked away, Yoonseo sighed to herself. "I'm sorry, Ji-young. I didn't lie on purpose." She looked down at the luxurious hotel dinner table, heart heavy. I can't tell her I'm broke because I booked this expensive dinner course. Jungwoo looked up. "Yoonseo, you..." Startled, she blurted, "Isn't this too much?" But quickly backtracked. No, it's fine, really." "It is too much, but it's his birthday. I wanted to do something special." She hesitated, then confessed, "There's something I want to tell you." With a burst of nerves, she added, "Actually, I've thought about treating you to a meal many times." Jungwoo stared, then smirked. "I thought you were finally reading the mood. But no, you're just being yourself." Yoonseo blinked. "Huh?" He stood up, voice calm but serious. "If this is really just about a thank you, then don't. I did everything because of how I feel about you." He met her eyes. "I told you, I like you." Her heart skipped. He continued, trying to hold himself together. "You always say I helped you, but I was just doing what I wanted." His words echoed in her mind. "Still, it makes me jealous." The chandelier flickered gently. Yoonseo stared out the window. She got business trips for personal projects. She hooked up with the boss. She looked up startled as Jungwoo stood before her. "If you have something to say, say it." She shook her head quickly. "Oh, it's nothing." Trying to smile, she added, "Let's just think of this as an elaborate birthday party." "Food is here," she said, shifting attention. He didn't respond, just watched her. Something feels off, he thought. Still, he let it go. Later that night, Yoonseo slumped against the cold elevator wall, utterly drained. "Ha," she sighed. "It's ruined. Everything's ruined." She clutched her head in the middle of the lobby. "Ah!" Images of last night haunted her. Laughing, tipsy, hanging onto Jungwoo. "I'll apologize. Later," she mumbled, face frozen in shame. But as she stepped into the office, whispers had already begun. "Morning," she muttered. A coworker ran up. "Yoonseo, did something happen last night?" "What's everyone talking about?" Then, her coworker showed her a phone. A photo. Her and Jungwoo outside the hotel, posted anonymously. "Not sure if this is... okay, LOL. I took this at OO Hotel around 10 p.m. Kind of sad to see colleagues dating like this. Heard she got her position through connections." Gasps followed. "Is that her? The hairstyle looks the same. So the post is real." Yoonseo stood frozen. Her heart dropped. Her world spun again. The photo was clear. Jungwoo placing his jacket over her shoulders. The comments were brutal. "Is this a joke?" "No, people always see them together. The company's a mess." Yoonseo's face turned pale. "What is this?" she whispered, horrified. She remembered that exact moment, him helping her last night. She trembled. Who would take this? Panic built. Should I explain? What if this affects my brother too? Around her, the whispers only grew louder. It's not even photoshopped. Then it's over. What excuse do they have? Colleagues muttered behind her. Seriously, the department head? Is there no one else she could go with? I heard he pushed her project. Figures. Bet he did all the work and rushed to the hotel. Frozen, Yoonseo could hardly breathe. I can't believe this. Then, hey! A colleague snapped, defending her. That's enough! But Yunseo held her back, overwhelmed and unsure what to do. She quietly left, her face stoic, but her eyes full of emotion. Ji-young followed, but Yunseo gently stopped her. Thank you. But let me handle this myself. Speaking up now would just stir things more. Later, a message lit up her phone. Cha Hyunwoo. Can we talk? Outside, Yunseo stood near the entrance, hand over her chest, barely holding it together. Then, Yunseo. Her brother's voice. He ran to her, worried. Are you okay? What happened? Is this because of Jungwoo? Why were you out so late? No, it's not like that, she stammered. It's all a misunderstanding. He stepped closer, calming her. I know. Did you think I wouldn't? She looked down. Of course you know. But not everyone will. He nodded. Then tell me what happened. She took a shaky breath. We had dinner. I was cold. He lent me his coat. That's it. Nothing happened. Hyunwoo listened, but his mind wandered. When did they become so close? Was it Jeju? Udo? Yunseo snapped him out of it. Cha Hyunwoo? Sorry. I was thinking... You don't believe the rumors, do you? Of course not, he said firmly. I'm thinking how to fix this. He held her hand. Just lay low. Trying to explain might make it worse. She nodded hesitantly. Okay. But what about Jungwoo? He probably doesn't care, Hyunwoo muttered. I'll ask the server team to delete the post. It'll pass. Thank you. As always, she whispered. But Hyunwoo smirked. Just thank you? She blinked. Huh? He leaned in. You owe me dinner, something expensive. Expensive? She protested. I already spent so much on Jungwoo, I'm broke. Hyunwoo laughed. No way. I'm going to handle this, so take your time coming back. And don't forget my dinner. Yunseo watched him go. Her smile faded. I relied on him again. I should be solving things on my own. A haunting voice echoed in her head. See? I told you. She can't do anything herself. She turned away, shaken. Nearby, 2 coworkers were laughing at a cat video. She's mad? Look at her wagging tail. So cute. I left her at a pet hotel while I was on vacation. Yunseo forced a smile but felt hollow. Ah. She turned away. This won't do. I need to wash my face and think. She walked through the hall, tense and overwhelmed. I feel anxious just breathing. I need to get back to work. But as she neared the restroom, raised voices rang out. Are you finished talking? Startled, she peeked through the door. Her eyes widened. Ji-young was arguing with 2 other women. Say it again, she shouted. Why? So worked up? One smirked. We didn't say anything wrong. From the doorway, Eunseok froze. You should keep your team in check. This isn't a playground. Are they fighting because of me? She thought. She took a step forward. Hey. But Jungwoo's voice echoed in her mind. Trying to explain will make it worse. She hesitated. Right. I should... Her hand gripped. The frame. If I step in, it'll only escalate. She turned to leave. I should endure, even if it's unfair, to avoid more gossip. But then, come to think of it, the department head's kind of funny too. Yunseo froze. What did you just say? Inside, the woman smirked. Strict in public, cozy behind the scenes, helping subordinates' careers. And maybe you rose to your position the same way. She was cut off by the sound of heels. Yunseo approached, calm but fierce. Yunseo. The woman stammered. Well, look who's here. She kept going. Do you think I wouldn't say it to your face? I didn't say anything wrong. You should have behaved properly from the start. Suddenly, hey! Yunseo shouted. Everyone jumped. Did you just say hey to me? The woman gasped. Yes, I said. Hey. So what are you going to do about it? Her voice cracked. Not from fear, but from rage. That comment just now, apologize. Immediately. The tension snapped. Yoonseo's voice rang out, sharp and steady. Now you've gone too far. Ji-young scoffed, arms crossed. Apologize? For what? She stepped closer, voice rising. Apologies are for people who've done something wrong. I didn't say anything that wasn't true. If you don't want to hear it, maybe check your behavior. Yoonseo's expression darkened. Spreading baseless rumors is wrong, Ji-young smirked. Oh? So you're saying that photo was fake? Yoonseo faltered. That's... How would I know? You're the one making a fuss, Ji-young snapped. Why do we need to explain? Ourselves? Just then, a commanding voice cut through the air. Enough! All of you, stop this right now! Their superior stepped forward, eyes stern. Arguing in the workplace? Everyone involved will be writing an incident report. Later that evening, Ji-young vented again. Everyone's so cruel. She growled, voice trembling. No one sees how hard you've worked. They're just jealous. I mean, what could you even have going on with the directors? At most, maybe you're just friends with director Cha Hyunwoo. Yoonseo forced a smile. Yeah, friends. But her thoughts said otherwise. The streetlights cast long shadows as a black car rolled to a stop beside them. The window lowered. Jungwoo sat at the wheel. Han Yoonseo. Let's talk. Get in. Yoonseo froze. She raised her hand to her face, flustered. Jungwoo? What is he doing here? In front of the company? If someone sees us? She whispered. Thank goodness no one's around. Why am I the only one panicking? Jungwoo leaned out. Han Yoonseo, are you listening? She pointed at him, exasperated. Not here, especially near the company. We have to be careful. He blinked. You're that worried about rumors? Of course I am, she snapped. Do you know what happened to me today? I do. You had to file an incident report. So what? Jungwoo stayed calm. Would being careful now change anything? People will gossip regardless. They might even say we broke up. Yoonseo stared, stunned. How can you say that so casually? Aren't you affected too? He turned to her, resting his chin on his hand with a faint smile. I have a solution, he said smoothly. If you don't like being mistaken for dating, why don't we actually date? She stared at him, stunned. Are you seriously joking right now? She asked quietly. Jungwoo tilted his head. Why? What's bothering you? Her mind spiraled. He says it's just noise. But the gossip, the judgment, he's never had to live with that. She turned away. It might not seem like a big deal to you, director, but to me, it is. Jungwoo's expression shifted as her words sank in. So I can't think as simply as you do. He stayed silent. Then her phone rang. She stepped away to answer it. Hello? Oh, Jungwoo. At the name, his eyes narrowed. Yeah, I'm heading home. No plans yet, she said, voice unsure. Jungwoo sat frozen, gripping the wheel. Then Yoonseo suddenly stepped away from the car. Wait, Han Yoonseo, he called. Where are you going? She didn't turn back. Something came up. Her voice was cold. I'd appreciate it if you didn't follow me anymore, director. Jungwoo sat in stunned silence as she disappeared into the night. The only sound left was the fading click of her heels, and the echo of words unsaid. Later that night, by the river under a starry sky, the atmosphere softened. 2 cans of beer, a pot of ramen, and snacks lay between Yoonseo and a man in disguise, hoodie, mask, and sunglasses. Spicy food makes me feel alive, she grinned between bites. He raised his can. Ramen, beer, a night view, what more could you want? She laughed. Exactly. Curious, she asked. Why meet way out here tonight? He leaned closer, overly dramatic. To avoid the paparazzi. Do we really need disguises? She giggled. He pointed. You're the star of the company these days. Their laughter floated into the night. Yoonseo blushed slightly. Thanks for caring, but it's night. You can't even see anything. She remembered how he nervously asked earlier, Let's eat ramen. Ak. Now he pulled off his sunglasses and looked at her, voice steady. I remember how hard it was when those rumors started. Seeing it happen again worries me. Maybe I went too far. Yunseo was moved. Cha Hyunwoo. Then he shifted into a chibi version. I should have fired those gossiping staff. She laughed. That's abuse of power. She leaned on his shoulder. Friends are the best, seriously. Hyunwoo stayed quiet, but his blush said enough. As the breeze swept over them, he gently placed a hand on her shoulder. We've been through this. It'll pass. But she shook her head. No, this time is different. He turned toward her, confused, and then she said it again. Jungwoo confessed to me. Her words sliced through the quiet night like a sharp breeze, echoing louder than before. What? You got a confession? From Jungwoo? She nodded. Yes. Hyunwoo looked down, jaw tightening. When? Where? Why didn't you tell me? She fidgeted with her can. Back in Jeju. I was too flustered to say anything. She glanced at him with a small smile. Are you mad I kept it from you? At least I'm telling. You now? But Hyunwoo didn't smile back. What was your answer? Huh? To Jungwoo. What did you say? His gaze searched hers. Hopeful. Nervous. Yunseo looked at her drink, unsure. I don't really know how to respond. She lifted her can slightly. So, I haven't answered him yet. Jungwoo's eyes shifted. Really? Yunseo sighed, slumping forward. My brain's about to explode. First stress, now these rumors. She buried her head in her arms. Why is my life always chaos? Jungwoo laughed. Han Eunseo's life is truly a struggle. Back to reality, his expression sobered. Then he stood. This won't do. Get up. Huh? We can't just sit here. Let's go have fun. Yunseo blinked, then smiled. Hyunwoo? She reached for his hand. Okay, let's go. As they walked under the city lights, she teased, I seriously can't live without Cha Hyunwoo. He chuckled. Ha ha, what kind of lip service is that? Karaoke, then a movie, Hyunwoo suggested, lightening the mood. He didn't. Ask more, holding back. I don't want her to feel pressured. Yunseo turned with a smile. It's nice feeling this comfortable with you. But that smile wavered. But sometimes, I hate that too. Later that night, the apartment door opened. Hyunwoo sighed, stepping in. From the living room, Cha Hyunwoo. Jungwoo sat with a book, not looking up. Why are you coming in so late? What, do we still have curfews now? Hyunwoo joked, but Jungwoo stood. Just answer. Me. Hyunwoo closed his notebook. If my sibling's out with friends, I don't question it. Where's Han Eunseo? That hit a nerve. Hyunwoo stood. Why should I tell you? Tell me. You hide everything and expect answers. From others. Hypocrite. You heard from Yunseo, didn't you? Jungwoo nodded. Yes, we keep no secrets. Hyunwoo scoffed. Really? I'm sure you're hiding something from her too. Silence. Yes, I confessed, Jungwoo admitted. Because I'm serious. Hyunwoo flinched. Serious? Then, why'd you make her uncomfortable? She hasn't even answered and she's already suffering. His voice rose. Do you even care how she feels? He tried to breathe. You knew she hadn't replied. Jungwoo replied softly. Yes. So stop. What? I said stop, he repeated. Even if she hasn't answered. I feel like I already know what it is. Silence? Huh. Jungwoo stepped closer. Well then, we'll see. The tension shattered as Yunseo walked in, holding groceries. Cha Hyunwoo. She smiled brightly, waving a melon bar. You want one? You're always eating this, right? But the moment she looked up, her smile faded. Hyunwoo rubbed his temple. Jungwoo stood silently. Why's the atmosphere so weird again? She glanced between them. Did they fight again? Jungwoo finally spoke. It's late. Yunseo blinked. Oh, yes. But he said nothing more, just turned away. Rest. Frozen in place, Yunseo stood quietly, still holding the melon bar. I'll put it away, Hyunwoo said, reaching for the bag. Okay. She watched Jungwoo's back as he walked away. What's going on? The revolving door outside spun slowly. Ugh. The next morning, Yunseo arrived at the office bundled in her scarf. We can't stay up all night like before, she muttered. I'm dying. But her real exhaustion wasn't from lack of sleep. Yesterday was so awkward. There hadn't been a fight, but something felt off. Did I sound too cold? No. It's because I've avoided giving him an answer for too long. Her heart pounded as she passed security. Today, I'll tell him. Good morning, everyone, she said softly. But no one responded. They were huddled, whispering, glancing nervously. What's going on? A co-worker rushed over. Yunseo, this is bad. The department heads? She looked up. Jungwoo and Hyunwoo stood facing off. It's a mess from the morning, Jungwoo snapped. Please watch your words, director. Cha Jungwoo, Hyunwoo warned. Why are these two? Jungwoo's voice grew sharper. This is how you manage your team? Hyunwoo's eyes narrowed. I told you to watch your words. Yunseo stood frozen. Wait, could it be? They're fighting over me?
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'd also love to hear your thoughts on the story. Feel free to share them in the comments below.
Outside the glass-walled office, tension hangs thick. Two head directors stand chest to chest, their stares sharp enough to cut. Staff glance at each other, whispers running low. Are they fighting? No one dares move closer. Behind the door, voices. Stay low, but one line carries. Yunseo is here. The mood shifts instantly. The door opens with a creak. They're coming out, someone murmurs. The black-haired director steps into view, composed and cold. His voice is even, almost like a verdict. If work is disrupted again over trivial matters, it won't end with just a warning. His gaze sweeps across the onlookers' disciplinary committee. Is a place no one wants to end up. Silence follows his steps down the corridor. The other director exhales. Muttering, there he goes again, always says his piece and leaves. Facing the team, he adds firmly, everyone heard. Please be mindful. I know this morning startled you, but let's get back to work. Staff disperse with uneasy chatter. At her desk, Yunseo lingers, hand tugging her scarf. Could this be because of me? Yesterday's tension at home flickers in her mind. Ever since moving in, everything has fell off. She straightens. She won't just sit still. Pulling out her phone, she sends a message. Is everyone free tomorrow after work? Let's have dinner together. It's been a while. A quiet promise. To fix what she can, night falls. The door clicks as she calls into the dim house. I'm home. No lights, no answer. Jungwoo? Hyunwoo? Only silence. A nervous laugh escapes. So no one's here yet, then? She tiptoes further inside, a playful whisper. Excuse me? She slips into the study. Everything is spotless, the desk aligned with care, the blanket folded neatly. Her eyes land on the bookshelf. Ah, this is. She pulls free a black volume, the high school graduation album. Her lips curl into a smile. Flip Jungwoo's stiff photo stares back. Just as she imagined, ignoring every request to pose. The group shot follows, surprising that he even joined at all. Cute, she murmurs, cheeks softening at the memory. Han Yunseo. The low voice freezes her. She jerks, clutching the album. Jungwoo stands in the doorway, a dark robe loose at his chest. His gaze is cool. Why are you here? You didn't come just to look at that, did you? I thought no one was home. She stammers. He steps closer, words sharp. So when no one was around, you decided to sneak into my room. What am I supposed to think? It's not like I meant anything by it. She protests weakly. Then footsteps, a voice calling from the entry. Yunseo. The hall, Hyunwoo rubs his neck. What? She's not here yet? He calls out, Hyung, Jungwoo Hyung, are you home? Panic flutters in Yoonseo's chest. If he finds me here, he'll misunderstand everything. The knob turns. The door creaks open. Hyunwoo peers inside. Really, where did you go this late at night? But unseen in the shadows, Jungwoo has already pulled Yoonseo against the wall, holding her still as Hyunwoo steps inside. Pressed close, her heart races. His whisper brushes her ear. Open your eyes. She blinks up at him. He's gone. Jungwoo murmurs, arms bracketing her. I should turn on the lights. If you do, he'll notice. Jungwoo warns, gaze unwavering. Are you okay with that? In my room? Like this with me? Or do you want him to see? Her hands tremble. His voice deepens. To you, am I just a friend's older brother? Just the head director? She falters. That topic. Since Hyunwoo is here, can we later? No. His tone cuts. Sharp, but his eyes betray strain. Any longer? It's hard to hold back. Then, plain and direct, his question drops between them. Is it Cha Hyunwoo or me? Which one of us is the man for you? The seconds drag in the quiet room, every tick stretching out. Pressed gently against the wall, Yoonseo looks up at Jungwoo, her breath caught in her throat. Why are you bringing up Hyunwoo here? Her cheeks flush, but she forces herself to speak. Hyunwoo he's a precious friend, and Appa is. Her voice falters, the words trembling on her lips. Appa is... That means Jungwoo cuts her off, firm and unyielding. There's no need to overthink it, Han Yoonseo, just focus on me. Think about what you want to do with me right now. His hand tilts her chin upward, gaze unwavering. Forget everything. Else, right now, it's only the two of us. Her heart pounds so loudly she can barely hear herself think. With Appa, what do I really want? A faint clatter echoes from the study, but Jungwoo doesn't even blink. His voice lowers, pressing close. Think carefully, Han Yoonseo. I need your answer soon. Her breath shivers. Then she decides. Rising on her toes, Yoonseo presses her lips to his. Jungwoo freezes in surprise, eyes wide, then he pulls her against him. Answering the kiss with intensity. They break apart only when air runs thin, their breaths mingling. Han Yoonseo, Jungwoo murmurs, voice roughened, do you even realize what you just did? Her cheeks flame. I know. She clutches at his robe, trembling. But you told me to only think about what I want right now. And, in her heart, the truth is clear, what I wanted. Was this in one swift, heated motion, Jungwoo scoops her up. Yoonseo gasps as they tumble onto the edge of the bed. Oh, Appa? Me too, he breathes above her, gaze dark and intense. This is what I want right now. His eyes search her face, voice quieter but firmer. Don't you like it? Guilty flutter twists inside her chest. I shouldn't be doing this. I haven't even given him an answer yet. But her hands betray her, they pull him back down, deepening the kiss. Just a little longer. Please, just a little longer. The air thickens with heat until footsteps echo outside the hall. Figure appears at the door. Hyunwoo. His hand clenches on the knob, eyes harden at the sight before him. Hyung. The single word cuts through the room like a blade. Yoonseo jerks, breaking away. Hyunwoo steps fully into the doorway, his voice sharp. What is this? Explain it properly. Jungwoo doesn't back down. Is there really a need to explain? This is between me and Ha Yoonseo. Hyunwoo's jaw locked, shoulders stiff. Between the two of you? And Yoonseo, does she think so? Two? Without hesitation, Jungwoo answers, steady. Yeah. Hyunwoo snaps, fury breaking loose. And this is what Yoonseo wanted too? He lunges forward and his fist connects. Jungwoo stumbles. Blood streaking his lip. Jungwoo straightens, wiping it with the back of his hand, eyes gone cold. You piece of trash. Hyunwoo roars, you've always pushed her like this, and now you dare to lay a hand on her? You're worse than a beast. He swings again, but this time Jungwoo throws him down hard. The thud rattles the floor. Jungwoo glares down, voice flat. You're blinded by your own assumptions. Cool your head. But Hyunwoo staggers back. Up, fists clenched, rage twisting his face. This bastard. They collide, furniture crashes. A table tips over with a loud crack. Stop. Yunseo cries out, rushing between them, clutching Hyunwoo's arm with all her strength. No, Hyunwoo, please. But his fury doesn't calm. Let go. Han Yunseo, why are you protecting that bastard? Tears sting her eyes as she shouts. Back, Cha Hyunwoo, it's not what you think. His voice wavers, cracked with guilt and anger. I should never have brought you here. This is all my fault. Without knowing what kind of man he really was, I let you into this house. He pulls her into his arms, dragging her away. We're leaving, let's go, Yunseo. She stumbles, protesting. Double, where are you taking me? Out. Of here, anywhere, you shouldn't be here. Sha Yemwoo. She cries, twisting back. Through the doorway, Jungwoo steadies himself, bloodied but standing firm. I'm okay. At the threshold, Yunseo locks eyes with him, her voice shaking. It's okay, just wait a moment. I'll be right back. Yunseo chases after him down the steps, her breath sharp in the cold night. Cha Hyunwoo, where are you going? I told you to stop. She catches his sleeve, pulling him back. Why did you run out like that? Let's go back inside and talk. Properly, Hyunwoo turns, eyes blazing. Talk? What more is there to talk about in there? Doesn't it bother you at all? What if Hyun had tried something else? He acts so recklessly. No. Yunseo cuts him off, voice trembling but firm. He falters, stunned. What? Her cheeks burn as she forces the words out. It's not that I couldn't refuse. She takes a steadying breath, meeting his eyes. I didn't refuse. A streetlight flickers overhead, throwing long shadows across the pavement. Hyunwoo stands frozen, speechless. His voice hardens. What does that mean? If he didn't refuse, then... His fist curls, a sigh escaping. You know exactly. What that means, Yunseo lowers her gaze. Since that day, I've been thinking nonstop. What should my answer be? What am I feeling? What do I really want to do? She exhales slowly, and I think I know now. She starts to explain, trying to ease the moment. Ah, of course. What happened earlier was a misunderstanding. It's understandable, but there's no need to be so angry. Before she can finish, Hyunwoo slips his jacket around her shoulders. You must be cold, he murmurs. Her eyes widen. What are you talking about all of a sudden? He softens, forcing a smile. Sorry I dragged you out like this. I should have thought about you being cold. Yunseo stammers, frustrated. Why are you changing the subject? Hyunwoo, listen to me, but he presses on. You must be hungry. Should we grab something to eat before heading back? Cha Hyunwoo, she cries, grabbing his arm. Why do you keep ignoring me? He freezes as a tear slips from her cheek to the ground. His voice cracks. I don't want to hear it. If it's about Jungwoo Hyung, I don't want to. Here. Her hand trembles as she clutches his sleeve. Then me. Listen to me first. Her voice steadies, soft but firm. Because I liked you first. Hyunwoo pulls her into a tight hug, jaw clenched. Lies. She eases back, meeting his eyes. How can you say that? We're friends, the closest, best friends in the world. He gives a pained smile. Closest friends, yeah. That's all I wanted you to see me as. If I kept it hidden, if I never said a word, then there'd be no problems. I could stay by your side forever, even if it was only as a friend. Rather than confessing and losing you, I thought staying close like that was enough. Snow drifts down, mixing with the tears on his cheeks. His voice breaks. But why? Why Jungwoo Hyun of all people? He wipes at his face, trembling. If you like him, I can't let you go, but I can't support him either. He bows his head against her shoulder, voice raw. I know I'm selfish, pathetic even, but please. Just once could you look at me too? Yunseo stands frozen, heart pounding. The reason everything feels so heavy, the reason Hyunwoo changed like this. It's because of me, she swallows hard. Hyunwoo, can you give me a few days? Sometime? I've heard so much today I'm confused. Her voice softens. Let me think it through and I'll give you my answer later. His eyes glisten, but he nods. Yeah. Cut to the next morning, the DJ and soft building gleaming under a clear sky. Inside his office, Jungwoo scrolls through his phone with a tight jaw. You're so late. Call me. Why aren't you coming up? Aren't you going to work? He rubs his brow, sighing. Last night only Hyunwoo came back. Yunseo, she didn't. His gaze drops to the empty desk. I can't believe Han Yunseo actually took a day off. He leans back in his chair, irritation and worry mixing. TSK, where on earth are you, Han Yunseo? BZZ, his phone vibrates sharply against the desk. He snatches it up, eyes widening. At the name on the screen. At a crowded cafe, Yunseo sets her phone down with a shaky sigh. After a pause, her fingers type across the screen. Can we meet briefly today? Outside the busy cafe, Yunseo lingers by the window when a familiar voice stops her in her tracks. Han Yunseo. Jungwoo steps up, arms folded, his tone sharp. You ignored my calls and then suddenly asked me to come out like this? She stiffens. Jungwoo Wappa? Her fingers fidget as he sits down beside her. You suddenly took a day off, he says, voice steady. I thought you might be sick. It's not like that. I just had things to think about. I'm sorry I couldn't answer yesterday. He studies her, then reaches out, palm against her forehead. No fever, right? Yunseo blinks, startled, her breath catching. I'm not trying to scold you, he adds softly. So you don't have to make excuses. This isn't the office either. Yes, she whispers, heart thumping. I really. Appa, but she swallows it back. So? Jungwoo tilts his head. What's so important you had to call the head director out on his day off? She fiddles with her fingers, voice hesitant. Double quotes ... Actually, there's a place I want to go with you. Will you come with me? Cut to the two of them walking side by side through the cooling dusk. Appa, are you okay? Yesterday, when Hyunwoo hit you? That? He rubs his cheek. My mouth's a mess. It's killing me. I can't even eat. Yunseo panics, reaching up. Does it hurt that much? Let me see, Jungwoo. Turns his face toward her with a teasing smile. What's wrong? Don't you want to check? I don't mind. Her cheeks flare. Oh no, that's not it. He chuckles, then softens. I was exaggerating, but it does hurt. His gaze shifts. How's Hyunwoo? You must have seen him. Her hands tighten as Hyunwoo's trembling plea echoes in her mind. Can't you look at me just once? He seems very confused, she admits quietly. The silence stretches as they walk. Finally, Jungwoo speaks. We've never fought like that before, not even during puberty. Thinking about it now, it must have been because you were around back then. It's late, but thank you for keeping him from going astray. Yunseo shakes her head, guilt heavy. No, I don't deserve thanks. If it wasn't for me, things wouldn't have gotten this bad. The city lights bloom as they arrive at the ridge. Jungwoo exhales. Wow, so this is the place. Yunseo smiles faintly. Yes, I used to come here a lot when I struggled with exams after my parents passed away. Whenever I felt scared and alone. Her eyes trace the glittering skyline. When I see all these little lights, I remember there are people in each of them. It gave me courage to keep going. Jungwoo's gaze warms. You're strong, Han. Yunseo, but from now on. He steps closer, lacing his fingers with hers. Come to me before you come all the way here. I told you can lean on me anytime, her voice wavers. Thank you. But I really wanted to come here today. I felt like I couldn't say it anywhere else. She hesitates, nerves fluttering. Appa, a sudden gust tears across the overlook. She stumbles, Kya. Jungwoo lunges, catching her tight. Are you okay? He exhales, a small laugh easing the tension. Anyway, Han Yunseo, you're so clumsy. Her fingers clutch his lapel. That's right, I've been called clumsy, naive, oblivious. Since I was young. I've heard it so many times and I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to be the person always causing problems. I'm going to stop now. Her eyes lift, steady but pained. So, Appa's feelings, I don't think I can accept them. I'm sorry. Yunseo clasps her hands, resolve in her eyes. Appa's feelings, I don't think I can accept them. I'm sorry. Jungwoo freezes. What? His hand reaches out, stopping her with a gentle grip. Wait just a moment. I don't understand. Why are you suddenly like this? You clearly... Yes, she cuts in softly. You're probably right. I know my actions don't make much sense either. She steadies her breath. But this is my answer. Her gaze lifts firm. I've thought about it. The memory rewinds after both Jungwoo and Hyunwoo had left, the house fell silent. Morning light spilled across the glass table, and in that stillness, she made her choice. The next morning, Yoonseo comes downstairs. Looks like everyone's gone to work. It's so quiet with no one here. After yesterday's chaos, it feels empty without them. Something by the trash catches her eye. She lifts a notebook. A photo slips free and flutters to the floor. She kneels, picks it up. Two smiling boys, Jungwoo and Hyunwoo, standing shoulder to shoulder, a bouquet in their hands. Her chest tightens. Brothers, they used to get along so well. Did I drive them apart? Evening falls on the overlook, the wind rattling the branches. Yoonseo lowers her gaze. It's because of me. Memories flood in liking Jungwoo, but leaning on. Hyunwoo, ignoring his feelings, behaving ambiguously. If I'd been clear with at least one of them, this wouldn't have happened. I didn't want to lose either of them. But that was selfish, wasn't it? She faces Jungwoo. Not choosing, yet not wanting to lose both. I don't want to be a burden like this anymore. I've been hiding behind being oblivious and naive. From now on, I'll stop relying on both of them. Her decision is firm. I'll quit the company and I'll move out of the house as soon as possible. She bows deeply. Until now, thank you very much. Silence. Jungwoo exhales. All right. If that's the conclusion you've reached after long deliberation, I understand for now. Thank you, Yoonseo murmurs. She turns to leave, but he catches her hand. No, let's go together. I'll take you. Yes? She blinks. Their fingers brush. It's cold, he says softly. His voice steadies. I heard your answer, and I still don't understand, but I don't want to leave you here alone. Let's go together. Night, on the overlook, he squeezes her hand. Yes, okay, she whispers. Later, the car idles outside her place. Thank you, she says. It's cold, hurry and go inside. Aren't you coming in, Appa? I just remembered something. I'll stop by the office first. I'll go after I see you inside. She nods, turning toward the gate. Yes, then, Han Yoonseo. She pauses, meeting his eyes. You said you'll quit the company and move out. I understand moving out the house must feel unbearable. But you don't need to quit the company. She blinks, startled. His voice softens but stays firm. Your performance at work isn't something you achieved by relying on anyone. You earned it yourself. You're competent enough, Han Yoonseo. Don't give up your future because of us. The problems you're struggling with, they'll be resolved soon. Her breath catches. Thank you for saying that. I'll think about it a little. He watches her step toward the door, lips pressed. Yoonseo, yeah, I think I'll miss you a lot. At the threshold, she exhales. Ha! But even after hearing those words, she wavers. If I keep seeing them at the company, can I act like nothing happened? Especially Jungwoo Appa, can I really treat him like nothing happened? She steels herself. I'll think about work later. First, I need to move out, as soon as possible. She dials her phone. Sujung, can you talk now? Could I crash at your place for a week? I'll pay rent, do all the housework, I'll cook too. Really? She brightens, relief washing over her. What a relief. Thank you so much, Sujung. When can I come over? As early as tomorrow. Slam. Yoonseo jumps, phone half raised, porcelain skids across the floor crack. A mug shatters at the threshold. Hyunwoo stands there, chest high, eyes locked on her. Han Yoonseo. His voice trembles. What do you mean by that? You're moving out of the house. What do you mean by that? Hyunwoo strides up, voice sharp. You're saying you're moving out of the house. What do you mean by that? Yoonseo lowers her phone. Sujung, sorry, I'll call you back later. She turns to face him steady. It's just as. You heard, I've been indebted to you brothers long enough. From now on, I'll stand on my own. Thank you for everything until now. Hyunwoo stares, disbelief hardening in his voice. What are you talking about? You could have at least discussed this with me before deciding. Her hand grips his sleeve. Hey, Cha Hyunwoo. What are you even saying? Yes, I was indebted to you, but where I live now is my decision. You don't need to be upset that I didn't ask for your permission. His temper flares. You used to tell me everything. If you had worries, you talked to me first. If something was hard, we faced it together. His voice shakes. What changed? Is it because I confessed? Because I told you I like you? His shoulders sank. Still, I was the one who stayed by your side since we were young. You could have at least told me the little things. Yunseo's eyes gloss, her voice soft. Yes, you were always by my side, my closest friend. My best friend. She swallows hard, and that's why. I can't treat you the same way anymore. Her gaze lifts, steady. Hyunwoo, tell me clearly, what do you want to be to me? He falters, stunned. What? What do I want to be? It's exactly as it sounds, she presses. Do you want to remain friends with me, or do you want to become lovers? Hyunwoo hesitates, fumbling. You confessed last time. Then, don't you want us to be lovers? He rubs his neck, torn. But it's because you said you like Jungwoo. I rejected Jungwoo Appa's confession, she says quietly, his eyes widen. What? Then, but even so. She continues, firm now, I have no intention of becoming lovers with you. Hyunwoo stiffens. She steps past him. What I wanted with you was just best friends, listening to each other's worries. Being a source of strength when things are tough. That's all I wanted. Her tone hardens. If that kindness wasn't because we were friends, but because you liked me, and if you showed it only to become more, then I'll reject it here and now. I can't accept those feelings. What I want with you is friendship, not love. She clenches her fist. So if you can't see me as a friend either, then we won't be able to remain anything. Yunseo, yeah. He breathes, stunned. I'm leaving, she says. Since we're neither friends nor lovers, we can't live together like before, so don't stop me this time. Hyunwoo's eyes lower, bliss. Yunseo pauses at the doorway. Take care. She turns away, footsteps fading down the stairs. Behind her, a mug lies shattered, water spreading across the floor. Hyunwoo trembles, lips pressed tight. Yunseo, yeah. His voice cracks in the silence. Outside, Yunseo grips her bag, her chest heavy. Was I too harsh? She shakes her head. No, this was the best way. This is enough. She pulls out an envelope, her resignation letter. Once I submit this, it'll really be the end. At the office, she approaches a desk. Excuse me, is team leader O here? I'd like to request a meeting. A staff member blinks. You, yes, so suddenly? Team leader, when did you arrive? He exhales. Since you worked with Yunseo, it's better you know. It's about head director Jung Wu. Her breath stills. Yesterday was his last day at work. What? She freezes. You mean from today? He's not here anymore. Her eyes widen. No way. She looks toward the director's empty office, silent, vacant. Appa, I can't see him anymore? The news strikes like thunder. What do you mean? Then from today, Yunseo gasps. The staff member answers flatly. He's not here anymore. Her knees weaken. No way. Appa, I can't see him anymore? The explanation follows. We needed someone for an overseas assignment. None of the executives volunteered. Until head director Jung Wu stepped forward last night. It was decided in a hurry, so there wasn't time to announce it. Her breath shudders. Lies. The memory echoes his words from before. Don't give up your future because of us. The problem you're struggling with. It will be resolved soon. She staggers back. What I said back then, did he already decide? Judging by your reaction, it seems you didn't know either. The staff adds gently. But Yunseo bolts from the desk. How can you do this? I rejected your feelings. I said I would quit. So why are you the one leaving? Her heels pound the hallway. How can you leave without saying anything? Head director. She bursts into his office empty. Her chest collapses. The door opens behind her. A breathless voice. Yunseo, yeah? She spins. Hyunwoo, you knew too? You knew? He shakes his head, catching his breath. It might be hard to believe, but I didn't know. I just heard and I ran here too. His words land heavy. The truth spills. The company had a project in the US. Everyone hesitated. No one would go. The whole plan hung in limbo. Until Jungwoo volunteered last night. Unco single quotes East hand clenches tight. Appa. She turns for the door, but Hyunwoo grabs her wrist. Just a moment, Yoonseo, yeah? Where are you going? The airport. She cries, we have to go before Appa leaves. We need to see him quickly and say something. Hyunwoo's eyes harden. What are you going to say? You're the one who rejected him. Her gaze falls. Yeah, that's right. I was the one who rejected him because it seemed like the best choice. But still, she swallows, face burning. I can't let him go like this. She lunges forward, clutching Hyunwoo's sleeve, desperate. He studies her trembling hand. His voice lowers. Yoonseo, do you remember? You once asked me what I wanted to be with you. Now I'll ask you the same. What do you want to be with Jungwoo? The question freezes her, fingers locked tight, tears brim. Hyunwoo presses on. You turned him down. If he leaves without a word, you have no right to blame him. Just like you decided to leave our house on your own terms. The truth cuts deep. Her tears spill. You're the one who told me that. She sinks to the floor, clutching his hand. A broken whisper escapes. But the flight's already gone, hasn't it? He must have left already. At the office later, a coworker stops by. Yoonseo, the head director left handover files on your desk. He prepared something for you too. Take it before you leave. Work, okay, cheer up. On her desk, she finds the black folder, her proposal, neatly organized. An envelope slips out. Her name is written on it. Hani Unsco. Her hands tremble as she opens it. Don't misunderstand. That isn't the whole reason. I was the right person for this job. I lived in the US, and I know how important it is for the company. Honestly, I hadn't planned to go. After spending time with you, I thought staying in Korea would be fine. That thought only changed little. The project was just the trigger, so don't blame yourself. Keep working hard. You're the one staying, not me. I skimmed your proposal before I left. It was well written, as expected. One organized a few parts. It's not much, but I hope it helps. Please take care of Hyunwoo. Even if I resent my brother, I still worry about him, and I'll miss you a lot. Yoonseo clutches the folder to her chest, eyes brimming. Alone in the dim office, she whispers his name as the weight of his farewell crashes down on her. Sunlight spills across the plaza. Yoonseo leans over the railing, quiet and weary. It's been 2 weeks since Appa left. In that time, she found a small monthly rental and finished moving in. Nothing big, just enough for living alone. Aside from that, her days feel the same. And somehow that sameness feels even stranger without him. Coworkers approach with bright smiles. Yoonseo, congratulations. Your proposal passed. She blinks. Ah, really? Of course, one. Laughs. I said I'd never seen such a brilliant idea. Another adds, everyone says it's systematic and fresh. You did this all by yourself? They tease her with a grin. What is this you only ate and worked? Yoonseo laughs awkwardly, scratching her cheek. But even as she smiles, it feels heavy like joy she can't quite hold on to. Voice calls. Head director? She looks up, startled. A tall man waves with a gentle smile. Hello, Yoonseo. If you have time, would you like to have lunch? They walk side by side. You were going to skip a real meal again, weren't you? He says knowingly. She fidgets. I just haven't had much appetite lately. It's good you work hard, he says, but if you collapse, what then? Take care of yourself too. Yeah, she whispers, curling her fist. But every free moment my mind drifts back to Appa. He pats her shoulder gently. We're here, let's eat first. I chose a menu you like. Her eyes lift to the storefront and suddenly blur. Sepia memories flood in. The same place, the same seats, the two of them eating together, side by side. Her chest aches. He notices. What's wrong? You don't like it? No, she says quickly, wiping her eye. Let's go in. They sit across from each other over steaming bowls. Yoonseo hesitates, then asks softly, how about Appa? Does he eat well? The director rubs his neck. Well, he seems okay, I guess. Okay. She murmurs, nibbling at her spoon. He watches her pick at the food and sighs. This won't do. If you eat like that, it's no good. I'll order another bowl. What? No, I can't eat that much. She panics. Another bowl here. He starts, raising his hand. I'm serious, I can't. He lowers it, eyes steady. Right, then it really won't do. A beat of silence. His voice firms. I can't just stand by when you're struggling like this. There might not be much I can do right now, but at the very least, I can grant one of your wishes. A few days later, evening light washes over the old house. Yoon-seo stands at the gate, remote in her hand. It's been a long time. I thought. I never come back here. Her phone buzzes Hyunwoo's message. We did a big cleaning, found some of your things. Come get them later, password's the same. Okay, thank you, she replies. She hesitates at the door. I thought I packed everything. Maybe I left something behind when I rushed out. Her fingers hover over the keypad. Should I just ask them to throw it away? But she shakes her head. No, asking Hyunwoo to toss my things isn't right. The Ideshans vest desk. Lock clicks. She steps inside. Let's just grab them quickly and go. A door stands slightly ajar. She pushes it open and stops out in the dim room. A cardboard box waits on the floor. Yoon-seo kneels and rummages through old things, mostly. Junk. No wonder she hadn't noticed anything missing. Her hand pauses. She lifts a sweatshirt stamped with a bullseye. The silly design makes her smile. She'd always thought it didn't suit him at all. A memory flickers. A cold night. The two of them on the patio under a starry sky, sharing canned drinks, talking more easily than ever. That night, she'd been grateful he'd found her a place to breathe. Back in the quiet room, the sweatshirt slips into her lap. But even that now. Her voice trembles as tears splash onto her fingers. Tears stream down her face. I want to see you. Her fist tightens. I miss you, Jung Woo, you idiot. A voice cuts through the stillness. What did you just say? She startles, spinning around. A chuckle echoes softly. He stands in the doorway, light framing his silhouette. I'm the one who got rejected and left. His eyes soften. So why are you the one crying? Jungwoo steps into the room, light slanting across the floor. Yoon-seo, still kneeling by the box, looks up in disbelief. Jungwoo appa? Her voice trembles. This doesn't make sense. I must be dreaming. I missed Appa so much. Why? Else would I be seeing something this ridiculous? He chuckles softly, crouching to cup her face. It's not a dream. This is reality. Snap out of it. Her eyes glisten. Really, is it really you, Jungwoo appa? Yes. His smile is warm. It's really me. I missed you, Yoon-seo, yeah? Yoon-seo gasps, then throws her arms around him. Me too. I missed you too. He holds her tight, patting her back with a low laugh. Since when did you become such a crybaby? Sob, how did you come back? Huh? By plane. Not that, she blurts. I get it. I'll explain, just calm down. His eyes meet hers. I didn't plan to come back at first. Flashback, a sunlit city street. Car horns echo as Jungwoo leaves a meeting in his suit. He checks his phone, Yoon-seo's name glowing on the screen. How long has it been since I left, and already? I miss you? His thumb lingers over the call button. A little boy runs by with a toy plane, then trips and falls. His mother rushes over, wiping tears and lifting him gently. Jungwoo pauses, watching, and suddenly it's Yoon-seo he sees instead. Memories flood in her, slipping on icy streets. His arms catching her, her clumsy steps, his steady hands. When a child falls, their parents help them up. But if you fall now, who will help you? That thought rooted him in place. Stop back in the present. He kneels before her, thumb brushing away her tears. I kept wondering if you were crying like that too. Trying to endure alone, unable to get back up. That foolish Yoon-seo carrying everything by herself. His voice softens. Because of those thoughts, I just couldn't leave. I'm sorry, I couldn't respect your choice. In the end, I came back for my own peace of mind. I thought I'd try leaving again if you were doing well, but Jungwoo smiles gently. If you're like this, I can't go. Yoon-seo clutches his hand, her voice breaks. I haven't been doing well at all. I can't even pretend anymore. I pushed for this, even if it hurt you, so I should take responsibility. But the Appa who always held me, I missed him too much. Tears spill as she leans into him. I'm sorry. I ran away because I was afraid of people's eyes. I wasn't honest with my feelings. She draws a shaky breath. I like you, Appa, since I won't hide my feelings anymore. Please stay with me. His lips curve. Okay, I'll stay by your side. He draws her into a kiss soft, then deeper. When they part, he lingers, chasing another. Just a little more, Njie. Unseo shivers, then startles. Oh, okay, wait a minute. He pauses, thumb brushing her cheek. What is it? Why? Well, now that I think about it, if you keep staying with me, what about your overseas assignment? Will the company even understand? Jungwoo exhales. No. They probably won't. What? She blurts. Then what do we do? Her voice muffles against his chest. It's clearly an important job for the company. He hugs her, tighter, kissing her cheek. Then you take responsibility? Me? She startles. You mean I should take responsibility if you get fired? No, he says, pulling her closer, loosening his collar. His gaze warms, steady and deep. Oh. Appa? He whispers, not later take responsibility from this moment on.